Oh, you're gonna you're gonna create an atmosphere.
Smoke machine.
With, with this, like the movies, they put like the smoke. This episode is sponsored by Magic Mind. More about it later on. Welcome to the show, man.
Nice to see you again. Nice to be here.
So you're here for the third time. You have been
true.
in this. You were the first person,
the first
guest in my podcast. You came a
Episode
second
1.
time for Hot Wings.
Yeah, I think it's like once per year, kind of.
Yeah. Every
Almost.
time you visit from London,
Yeah.
we do a podcast. And now it's the third time. And I think this is going to be a different episode. It's going to be a different, not only for us, for everyone, because we thought, let's do a Joe Rogan podcast
Joe Rogan
style. Obviously, we're not trying to copy it. It's just like the
of course.
idea
format.
of both we are fans, both we are watching the show.
Yeah.
And let's do one that it's almost unedited.
It's like a tribute to Joe Rogan, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we saw him also in London.
Yeah.
And you visited.
I'm gonna talk about
The experience.
experience for sure.
Joe Rogan experience.
Yeah. So for the people that are joining now, we don't have Joe Rogan in this podcast.
True.
And I'm not going to cut anything on the editing. I'm gonna switch between the cameras, obviously, but I'm not going to cut anything. It's gonna be raw.
Okay.
And if we do it for
Are you trying
1,
to put pressure
2
on me?
hours, 3 hours, actually, I'm putting a pressure on me because I also want to try do live, YouTube live or something like that. So I will
like
have the same feeling now that if I do a mistake, that's it. So for example, I can see my camera that I don't like my frame. I'm gonna stand up and change it.
Okay, awesome. So I have to say something if you don't cut shit. Can say shit here?
Just say whatever you want.
Okay.
Actually, I saw there was a problem in YouTube, the YouTube algorithm last month, I think, where it was taking the first 30 seconds of your video, and if you were cursing or something like that, it was cutting it
like shadow ban.
Something like that.
Promoting
And a lot of
anything.
people had a lot of issues, and now they're cutting it down to 7 seconds. So you need to be clean for the first 7 seconds for some reason. I think the reason is they can play ads in the beginning, so it's clean in the beginning, and then you can do whatever you want, I guess. But yeah, you can say whatever you want. So yeah, for the people that are used to this show, I will say we don't have any theme. We are not going to talk about something specific. It's gonna be random things for the next hour, 2 hours, whatever comes up. So if you want to chill, maybe work and have this on the second screen, or listen to it while you're doing something else and chill with us, feel free to join. If this is too long for you, then I don't know. Up to you. Because they already know how long it is. They're in the future.
True.
Should I give a gift for the people that watch the entire?
Oh yeah.
If it's too long, like if we keep it 1 hour, then I don't give anything. But if we do more than 2 hours, I will give a gift or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
Towards
what?
Closer to the end somewhere.
Yeah. I'm not sure what yet, but we're gonna figure it out as we go. What's up, man? What's up with your life?
All good. So it's not a distance destination.
It's the same podcast, but with it's gonna be a special edition.
Oh, okay. All right.
Do you like the new setup?
Yeah, I like actually the details. I don't know if you have any close-ups with your logo on the microphones and all stuff. It looks super professional.
Thanks.
And these are Joe Rogan microphones, yeah?
The style of it, I will say. It's a budget thing. Like this one, like the Shure 7B, which is the most popular microphone because Joe Rogan has it and everyone wants to have the same one. It's actually when it started was 600 euros. And then they dropped it to 400, but still it's very expensive, especially if you want to have 3 or 4 of them. It's like,
Yeah.
and the Shure SM7B also needs like a cloud lifter for every microphone. It's an add, you add $100, and then you need to have like I will go for the Roadcaster, I think it's called, which has to record everything. So it's another 600. So it's a lot of expenses. So I wanted to upgrade, but not in that much. Don't spend that huge budget, because I also do podcasts from Zoom calls. So I don't think. And then I also thought that I would love to have like custom. So with that one, I can like 3D print basically my logo on it. I can change the foam. I can do whatever I want, and it's I can have whatever color I want.
Yeah. Looks very professional. The setup is
this one is
upgraded.
the Shure SM58. So it's the same company, the same thing. And most people that compare them, they say it's almost identical, but it costs like 100 instead of 400. So yeah. The only thing that it's annoying about the 58 is like the appearance. It's like the microphone that a 5-year-old will draw with a small thing on the top. So I just 3D printed the rest.
Nice. Awesome. Well, the big change with me now, I'm still in London based, is that I began with photography, like professional photo shoots and having clients and stuff like that I didn't have before. And
I think you said that in the previous episode, the first one, you were starting on the sushi restaurant and you wanted to see what level you can get.
Yeah.
On the second one, you didn't exactly know what you want to do, but it was like a goal. I don't remember exactly, but it was something to do with YouTube, photography, video, like something creative, and make this into a career. And now you basically
I'm in the
towards this goal
process doing it. Like it already started for me. I have clients now, and I lowered my contract on my day job to have more days off and work there for less days. At the moment, I do one-on-one portraits out in the streets or in the parks of London, and the only bad thing is that it's seasonal. Like it works, you have all your clients on the warm months of the year, and then it dies. So you have to have a studio to make it full-time photography. But the rents in London are a big deal, and I'm not there yet. That's why I kept my day job to be secured, the whole year long. But yeah, it's a big deal for me.
And I'm super excited that you cut off some of the working hours to focus on that.
Yeah, this made a big difference as well. That you don't feel that tired from the day job.
How many days you were working during the week?
I used to work 5 days per week, 9 hours per day. But with traveling back and forth, it's basically 11 hours per day. So the whole day is kind of ruined.
And now?
Now I work 4 days per week.
So you have
I have 3 offs. And usually I put at least one photo shoot.
And basically now you're making almost the same money that you were making working 5 days, and now you're working 4. But
to be honest, if I have one photo shoot per month, I make the same money as well.
So if you have more than one, basically you're making
extra money.
And that's actually pretty cool, because I think most people that want to get into freelancing or do their own creative thing, they think that they need to quit their job immediately. And basically that's a perfect example of you do it step by step and you see how it goes.
Yeah, the thing is that if you don't have money on the side, you You don't have this option, especially in a expensive city like London, that the rent and your bills are a very big part of your salary. It's not an option actually. Maybe we can talk about that. Like, I had to make a lot of decisions in order to take this step. And I was thinking at some point to make a video about it, but this is a good opportunity.
You can
talk about these decisions. What decisions
here
you
you can just, I don't know how to call this in English, but spill your brain and and then go back to the podcast and take notes.
Make a bullet points out of the podcast.
And then create your video.
True. So I think in order to make the step and become a professional artist in general, it's not just for photography. I think most of the steps are universal to all the art forms. One thing for me, it was to make sure that I know 100% of the technical stuff. For instance, a beginner photographer, you can tell he's a beginner because he's putting a lot of focus into the settings of the camera and the light and all this stuff. And he doesn't talk to the model. He doesn't communicate how to pose them, how to make them feel free and stuff like that. They are silent usually and they press buttons, and they take photos and they check what came out of it and how to make it better and stuff like that. After years of practicing, you get the technical stuff. Like, the camera is an extension of your body actually. And you just press the button and you speak at the same time.
You don't think about it.
It's like second nature. Like, you breathe. You don't have to think that now I have to breathe in, now I have to breathe out. It's like automatically. When you get to this level, that you have the technical stuff running on the background of your mind and running automatically, and you are free to express your vision, what you are thinking, to talk to the person. That's one sign that you are ready or closer ready to become a professional, I guess. Sorry. Another hint as a photographer is that when you take a portrait, the person, when you send the photos, they use your photos as a profile picture on your social media, on their social media. And how long they keep it there. Because at some point, I had the people, either if they are my friends or clients, that I see that they keep for 2 years the same photo that I took from them. They keep it still. And that's a good hint as well. That means that they genuinely like the photo. And for 2 years, they didn't have a better photo to upload, to put. So this is a good hint that you can realize on your own without anybody telling you anything.
I have yours for 6 years, maybe. I think those were first pictures that
we'll have to take another one
taking
to make another photo shoot.
And then I changed the background to yellow so it matches the brand, and then that's it. I don't usually go and change my profile pictures. That usually, it's like even my personal Facebook page, I don't. I have the one that I have for many years. I don't even think about changing it. So we can take a new one, but if it's the same one, I don't know if.
Actually, I think this is a very good thing to realize without communicating, because I was thinking about myself that people tell me all the time, they give me positive feedback. And I was never sure. Now, do they mean it or they just say it because I'm the one who took the photos and they don't have the guts to tell me, I can do a better one or something like that. But I found out this trick and I really enjoyed it because it doesn't need for the other person to communicate with you and tell you anything. You can figure it out on your own without asking, without doing anything. So I noticed that as well, that a lot of the photos that I take, everybody pretty much is using the photos on social media as a profile photos. And actually, the third thing I have to suggest is to start working out. Like to start paying attention on your body, on your physical body, and as an extension to your diet, what you eat. because this actually helped me a lot. At some point, I was thinking why I'm 3 years in London, and only now I took the decision to step up my game and become a professional. And it wasn't a coincidence that it happened after I built my body a little bit. And I started seeing results, like working out, because I've never worked out before. It was a huge deal for me. It helped me on psychological levels, on everything pretty much. It's like...
Yeah. I mean, like in Mentor Cruise, where I have my mentees, I always ask them about exercising and stuff, because they don't really, like when we talk about goals and stuff, they always think about design or business goals, and they don't tell me they're like personal, or like they don't think that this is useful. And I always say like that's like the one of the most infos I could have. And as like in ancient Greece, I don't remember, it said that Nusigis and Somatigis, like your brain,
a healthy brain within a healthy body.
Yeah, and vice versa, basically. Yeah. So if you keep, you need to keep both healthy to be balanced. And yeah, most of the mentees, I had one that realized that after starting exercising, all the other goals that she had starting to be like, she had more energy to work, she had more energy to, like, she was waking up earlier in the morning, easier. So yeah, definitely it plays a huge role, I think, taking care of your body.
Yeah, I think it's the best thing you can do to start exercising, and you starting taking care of your muscles, and then on your diet, what you eat. At some point, automatically, I had a mindset that every time I eat something, I was thinking, is this food giving me nutrients for my body? If it's a chocolate, of course, the answer is no. It's just pure sugar, mostly. And I started thinking like that. It changed my thought process. And of course, I believe that when you change your everyday life, you break up your habits, and your brain creates new paths.
I'm gonna give some background on you, because I knew you for many years.
Yeah, true.
So Thanos is the person that will eat only fast food and delivery food and shit, and
at some point, actually,
a lot of chocolates. Like, it's not that you're gonna buy one donut, you're gonna buy like a whole huge
the biggest box
and eat the whole box by yourself. And then after eating that, you're gonna order. So I remember coming to your house, you're gonna order burgers and stuff and pizza, and then after that you're gonna also order crepes, and so to eat something sweet. Oh, like, man, what's going? That's a usual day.
Yeah, that's every day.
And mainly, you went from that to the other point, to the extreme, in one day. Like,
actually, I can say a short story about that.
Yeah, this is where I was going. I wanted to ask you, because for me, from the outside, this is what happened. You were this guy, and then one day, you were like exercising and eating only healthy food. So what was like the day in between? What happened?
So at some point, I was eating so bad. Like every day, I was drinking 2 Coca-Cola cans, and I was eating basically 2 bottles of mayonnaise per week. 2 bottles myself with my food. And at some point, I don't want to make you edit, but I can send you the photo to put it.
I think you also have a YouTube video about this.
I took it down.
Really?
Yeah, why? Because when I fixed my website, I cleaned most of the videos that are kind of low quality or entirely not related to photography.
So it looks more professional.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I want the photo to
Yeah,
show
I'll
your
send you the photo. It's gonna be here, like
second ass.
underground. So at some point, I'm going to take a bath, and I hear my girlfriend laughing in the background. And I turn around and she has her phone and taking photos. She's laughing like crazy, hysterically. I'm like, man, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you laughing at me? What's going on? She told me, man, you can't believe it. You have to see the photo. You grew a second ass on top of your ass. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? This makes no sense. And then I saw the photo and I saw that it was actually true. I had I think in English they call them love handles. Mm-hmm. They were like swollen, huge, like swollen. I couldn't believe my eyes and all of this was fat, of course. But it looked on the photo like I have some problem, that my inner things are swollen or something. And I'm like, man, what the fuck is this? And also I had another problem that all my trousers were not fitting me anymore. And I bought already larger ones, and then I couldn't fit in my larger ones as well. And the only bad thing is that I didn't take a photo of my belly.
Yeah.
Because it was so huge that I was ashamed to take a photo of my belly like that. And that was the red flag, you know?
Okay.
And from then I started doing a diet and paying attention on my diet. Mm-hmm. But early on, I realized that I have to exercise as well, at least a little bit. In the beginning, I couldn't even do one push-up.
Yeah.
Not even one. Mm-hmm. And slowly, I had the mentality, I think in the beginning, everybody has to have the mentality that's called better than nothing. Mm-hmm. For instance, if you work out for 5 minutes, it's better than doing nothing. And that's what I did actually. I started with 5-minute workouts every day. The 5 became 7, 10, and in the end I was working out every single day for about an hour and a half between there.
I think that's the mentality of doing the first step, like doing the first push-up that you cannot do yet.
And it took me a long time to make the first one actually. It's a very slow process, but the trick is, even if you do 5 minutes per day, to do it every day. So you create a habit in your brain. Yeah. And if, because life happens, one day you can't do any exercise because you don't have the time, you feel a bit guilty. And the next day you push a little bit harder.
Like in every habit, you need to, if you want to develop a habit, I think they say it should be at least 14 days, so 2 weeks. So if you do it every day consistently for 14 days, I think after that it's gonna be a habit.
Yeah, and I have to say this for anybody that is listening, that you only have to push. For me, I had to push the first 4 days for me personally. After that, it kind of became automatically, and I was actually looking forward to start working out. Before I went to sleep, I was thinking, oh man, I want to wake up to do some exercises. It became like that. Kind of obsessed, I can say. But the thing is that I can send you also the end of this process where I became.
I want to say that since you don't have the video anymore, I want the before and after photo, so people can see this one.
Put on the YouTube.
How long does it took to get to the?
For me, because I went to extremes, and I didn't have days off. It took me 4 months to do this. But I understand if you are a normal person and you are not obsessed with this goal, it would take 8 months.
I'm gonna tell them what means obsessed.
Okay, because
So he didn't eat any like he didn't have any cheat day. Like every normal person, when he starts a diet, he's gonna have at least one cheat day, because I think the cheat day helps you mentally more. It's not so much about that. Like even if you had like a lot of donuts and stuff at home, you didn't touch them. You prefer to throw them at the garbage.
For me, I felt confident to have chocolates and Coca-Cola in my house, because I have an addictive personality. So if I don't have the Coca-Cola in my freezer or in my refrigerator, I would get crazy. I would think, oh no, I want a Coca-Cola and I don't have one. And it's at night, the supermarket is closed. What am I gonna do? I need it, and stuff like that. So I always had chocolates and Coca-Colas and everything available in my house. And this way, in the background of my head, there was no alarm.
You know that
I know that if I need it, it's there. I'm
but
covered.
you don't need it. But
I
you
never
don't
touched
want
it.
Yeah.
I have.
But I think this is for most people. I think this
It's
can
the
work
opposite.
for some people, but for most, if they have it available and it's easy to get, they're gonna eat it. Like if they have Coca-Cola at home instead of water, they're gonna drink that. Instead of not having it at all, since they don't have it, they're not going to drink it. But yeah, I get what you're saying. And the other thing was that when you started exercising, you were telling me, I went for a run and then for a walk today. I was like, because I knew that you don't exercise at all, I was thinking, okay, yeah, you went to the park. That's, fine. And then you started sending me screenshots of days workout, and it was like 19 kilometers, 18 kilometers, 20 kilometers. I'm like, wait, what the fuck are you doing, man?
I was doing like 50,000 steps a day. I was doing a 2 hours long walk in the morning and another 2 hours walk long in the afternoon on my days off.
Yeah. Also, most people don't do that. They're gonna start with 1 kilometer, then go to 2, 3, 5. You went immediately to 18.
Yeah. Well, I built it, of course.
For instance,
in the
but you build it
fast.
You went immediately to the extreme. Like it was, instead of 1 was 15 immediately or something like that. Something crazy.
Yeah. I pushed hard in the beginning. The thing is that everybody thinks they push hard until they see somebody pushing harder.
Yeah.
With the exercises and with all this stuff. And I was only watching like professionals like David Goggins and guys like that they are kind of professional extremists on this subject.
This is what I want to say, that for people that are watching this and they're really exercising, they're going to be, okay, I also do 15 just for a warm-up. But for me, it was extreme because I knew that you don't do anything. Like
true.
It was like from
zero to
to the extreme. So for someone that is already working out, maybe it doesn't sound extreme. But as a designer and content creator, I'm always trying to find ways to stay energized and focused. If you know me, you know that I don't drink coffee. And what I like about Magic Mind is that the energy that it will give you, it's not like caffeine that it's going to give you a boost and then drop out on you. It's going to give you that energy and stay with you for the whole day. There's so many ingredients in that small bottle that I cannot even remember them. But, the top of them are like matcha, nootropics, all the vitamins that you need, and they're all organic and natural. During the past weeks, I have seen an improvement on my focus and productivity during the day. So if you're looking for ways to have more energy, stay focused, and reduce stress without sacrificing your health, then I definitely recommend Magic Mind. If you want to try out the little Magic Elixir for yourself, then you can use my special link, magicmind.com/distance to destination, the name of the podcast basically. And with my code DISTANCE20, you will get a huge 56% discount if you apply it in the first 10 days. The link will be an affiliate link, so by helping yourself, you're also helping me create more content like this one.
So, after doing that, on this period, I didn't do any... I nearly didn't do any photo shoots. Like I focused entirely on this aspect. But afterwards, I found out that if you maintain a level that you're happy with, you can keep it way easier. Like you can drop the exercises to 40 minutes per day instead of 1.5 hours. And basically change your diet to introduce again some sugar that I didn't eat at all and stuff like that. And you can maintain it way easier than it takes to build it. The
other thing that I heard, I don't know if it's true or not, like for me, having a cheat, it's important mentally, not for your body. But someone said to me that it's also important for your body that you eat a little bit of something dirty, so your body knows that this is dirty and then can recognize in a way that you're eating healthy.
That's
because
true.
if you don't eat it at all, it stops to absorb that well.
Yeah,
I don't know if it is true.
our body is adapting. So also, if you keep the same diet for a year or two, it's gonna adapt and it's not gonna work for you anymore because your body gets used to it. So you have to break your patterns every 6 months. For instance, I introduce some sugar again for like a week or two, and then I cut again. And I try to change also my workouts to break the patterns every now and then. This helps a lot.
So you think this is the main thing that helped you basically to start doing your own
It helped me
thing?
to, I can give you an example. I had my old website for photography that at the moment I made it, I liked it. I was happy with it. But I realized that when I have a website for a client, I make a way better job than I make for myself, because I was easier on myself because I said, oh, this is for me. It's okay. I know my standards. And I was doing the job that was for me, my personal website. I built it in a couple of days. For a client, I was building it in a couple of months. So after working out, that I saw that I have not a 6-pack, like a 4-pack. I went around there. I started taking myself more seriously. And I understood that actually I deserve to treat myself as I treat my clients, or even more serious. And that's when it clicked in my brain. And I said, man, I made all these websites for all these guys and they have a professional website and I don't pay attention to mine. What is this? Crazy. And I started, I said to myself, okay, I'm going to make the best website I have. And I started, now we go back to tips again. Check your competition. Look what your competition is doing. I started like that. I checked websites from photographers in London and I realized that I believed I can do a better job than most of the websites they have. I realized some people have better photos than mine, but their website is not that good. So I can climb the competition by making a better website than them.
Yeah, because I think most professions, like he could be like an awesome photographer, but then if I go to their website to book a session and I cannot even book it, I need to contact him on Instagram, or the website doesn't work correctly. Maybe the photos are amazing, but then somehow they lose their professionalism. And I think most people, they're not going to either have the budget or don't want to spend the budget on a graphic designer to create the website. So you being able to create your own website was like a huge advantage, I think.
Yeah, true. It's actually like, I see this as well to people that are not photographers, and sometimes they see a photo from a cell phone and they can't tell the difference from a DSLR. Well, I can because I spend all these hours doing this professionally, so I train my eye. It's also with the websites like that. Maybe their eye is not that trained and they are happy with what they got, but as a web designer, I can see that the quality of the website is very low, and it's like built like 20 years ago.
Yeah, but even the client that doesn't know web designing, I think they, like in the back of their brain, they know that this one is more professional than the other one. They don't know why, they cannot explain it, but when they see it, they know that I prefer this one for some reason. So
So this is the other hint, that if you want to be a professional, you have to present your work as a professional. So you can't have all your photos or your portfolio on social media and be happy with it and say, oh, I work with my Instagram. I send them my Instagram and this is my portfolio. No, because it's not yours. Professional. Everybody has Instagram. I think the same like your clients.
And it's also not your platform.
Exactly.
Like a lot of people, that were working a lot with Instagram in the last years were like, oh, they changed the algorithm and now it doesn't work, and I need to do a lot of how do you call them? The shorter ones.
Shorts.
Not YouTube Shorts. I don't remember. They're like the TikTok version of it, basically. And on your website, you control everything. Like if people are going to your website, then it's done. It's only you. You don't have any competition. It's perfect. But if you're in a platform, then the platform basically controls how everything. You use it. So yeah, that's for sure one thing.
And tomorrow Instagram might close.
Yeah.
What you gonna do? You're not depending on anybody but yourself.
Yeah.
So business cards, I printed business cards. I printed the flyers, all these kind of things.
Especially that you are based in London and you need people that are in London to take a photograph, because now in the digital age, most people don't need a business card. But I think you being in a local...
to be honest, I see it with my clients that in the end of the photo shoot, I tell them, and this is my business card. I see it in their face that they appreciate it more when they look at it and they hold it, and I see it in their eyes. They have an extra spark when they grab the
especially as a graphic designer, you can create business card that it's better than the others. So
true. The other thing, I had something in my mind, now it slipped away.
I can say something that I was thinking. The most important thing for me when exercising, business related to exercising, is discipline. I think it's something that you build a lot.
Of course.
With
self-discipline. It taught me self-discipline and to appreciate myself actually more. I realized that I can work harder and I deserve better. Taught me that.
Yeah. For sure. And the second thing I think is it's gonna be better for your body, because as designers, creatives, we always sit down on a computer. For sure. So I think our backs and hands and everything, it's like getting destroyed.
I can say a short story for that as well, that every time I was going back from work, because of my work I'm standing most of the time, had terrible back pains up here. And I was laying out on the bed watching Netflix and eating, and then I would lay down and sleep. I was since I came back home from work, I was
no energy
dead.
Anymore.
Nothing. Now the pains disappeared entirely. I have zero pains on my back, and when I come back, sometimes I even had energy to, before I start eating, to do some more exercises on some days. So it was
cool,
crazy. I never thought it's gonna be like that. For
me, it's the opposite. Like I was sitting down for so many years that now that I have a standing desk, I feel like my back being better, like everything. So I think whatever you do a lot of it, again, you need balance between everything.
Yeah, of course.
So now you have all this energy that you even exercised in the airport.
Oh yeah. On my way here, I had my flight got delayed 1.5 hours, and I was doing exercises in the airport, like deep sits and stuff like that, because I was thinking I'm gonna be sitting for 3.5 hours, and usually my muscles getting tired of sitting and I have to stand up. So before I go inside for this hour, I was doing some exercises on the waiting lobby, and then I got inside. I was sitting for 3.5 hours. I didn't have any pains. It was nothing. It was amazing. I didn't have the need to stand up and be
So it did help.
Yeah, it did help a lot.
I imagine the security guards on the cameras watching you, being like, "What?
This guy's crazy.
What is?"
Yeah, actually, you have to do. I call it smart exercises. That I realized at some point that I'm waiting the train every day from 7 minutes to 17 minutes. And everybody is either standing or sitting down. And I said to myself, I have to do steps, so I have to walk. And I'm walking up and down the platform every day. I'm the only person. I always look. Nobody's doing it.
Yeah.
and I call it smart exercises. And this, in the long term, like in the end of the week, it adds thousands of steps on your smartwatch.
I started doing that. Like I'm not doing it. Maybe I should start doing this more. But I was doing this when I was training more on climbing, and I suggested the same exercise to someone that told me that he cannot do pull-ups on the bar. How do you call it? And he had the bar at his house, but he couldn't do one. And I said he could do only one, but he couldn't do a second one. And I said, just do one every time you pass through it. This is an exercise I was doing. So every time I was getting out of my room to go to the kitchen or the bathroom or something, I was doing one. Returning, doing one more. So basically that was just 2 because I went to the kitchen. So in a day, you basically are doing 24 pull-ups or 30 of them, and you don't even realize it because you just did one. And I told that to a guy that he could do only one, and after a week he started doing like 5 in a row and then 10 in a row, and now he can do like normally. So
stuff like that you have to do. So back to photography. Another decision you have to make is how much you have to niche down, because everybody says you have to niche down. Because, for instance, even if you're a graphic designer, if you have on your website the logos and corporate identities and flyers and books and this and that, and you have a million different projects, supposedly the theory is that your clients get lost and they're not sure which one is your best
I think
subject.
I can tell like a similar example for graphic design, because most people have the thing that the more things that you say that you do, the better it's gonna be, because you can attract more clients. So they're gonna be, I'm doing branding and logos and videos and this and that and printing for all around the world. I don't care where you are from, for all the businesses. But if you say, I'm gonna do only, I don't know, I'm trying to think like a specific, like I'm doing only branding for restaurants in this part of London, and those restaurants need to be, I don't know, Mexican food. I'm just saying that's very niche down. And most people will say, but that's a very small audience. I will not have a lot of clients. But it's crazy because after they all think that you're the professional guy that do the Mexican restaurant branding, and everyone comes to you, and then people from other restaurants start to come to you, but basically you don't show that in your portfolio. That's the idea. And the best example that I have is that you want to eat the best Italian pizza today. We want to go outside and eat the best Italian pizza. You will have like a restaurant that do the best Italian, they do only this Italian pizza, and then you have a restaurant across the street from that do pizza and
pasta,
souvlaki and pasta and crepes and ice cream and everything. We gonna go to the first one obviously because we want to eat the best pizza. So I think it's the same thing with niching down on your profession.
Actually, graphic designers have it's a bit different with graphic designers because they have the freedom to work through internet now. So you have access to pretty much the whole world. With photographers, the difference is that in order to decide how much you're gonna niche down, it depends on your location.
Yeah.
So if you are in a small village in a European country, you have to do everything because you are the one photographer of the village. You have to do the photo shoot for product photography, the photo shoot for restaurants, the photo shoot for people, portraits.
But you already niche down. Like you could niche down and say, I'm doing only portraits for the entire world, like only night portraits with this specific lighting for the entire world. I don't care from where they're from. Or I'm doing photography in that specific, like if the village is only 100 people, then your target group is very niche already. I mean,
Yeah, but your portfolio has to be broad. That's what I mean. You can't niche down
Yeah.
because you don't have the numbers. If you want to be a fashion photographer,
Mm-hmm.
you will not have that much influencers to do it. You will
You
not
mean
have
in a
access
small
to,
village?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, this is what I'm saying, that you're not niching down your exactly like your style, I would say, but you're niching down on the location. So that's another way to niche down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For instance, the difference with being a photographer in a small city than being a photographer in London.
Mm-hmm.
In London, you don't have to be just food photography. You can be specifically, I am ice cream photographer. I photograph only ice creams.
Mm-hmm.
And because they have all these shops and the city is so populated and concentrated, you can be specifically ice cream photographer and still find a lot of jobs.
Yeah. Yeah. I get what you mean.
In a huge city like that, it's like first is New York and second
like
is London.
I will say, like, even in those huge cities, I think like saying New York, it's not even niched down enough. Like you could pick a specific part of New York and say.
Yeah. And I realized because I had recently built my website and it had inside everything like from graphic design to photography, YouTube, music, whatever. It had everything inside. And I decided to niche down to photography and specifically the thing I do.
Yeah, I think YouTube was like the opposite of niching down.
Yeah, true.
Had everything. But I think it was okay because you were experimenting to see what you want to do.
You have to go through this stage that you try everything in order to find out what you actually like and what you're good at.
I like that you took the decision of niching down and then basically hide everything else, because I think it's also a tough decision for some people to have done all those stuff, and I like it so much.
You get attached. It was like
then it's difficult to remove it.
Every project, it was like I felt it like my kid kind of. I was proud of showing it and all this stuff. So it was super difficult, and that's actually why it took all these years for me to decide it.
Mm-hmm. Do you still have the podcast there?
Yeah, I have it because it's related. The podcast I do, it's called the London's No Ones.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts with a photography.
And exactly, I want to say that you also have photography in there.
We go to a park in London and we have a photo shoot in the beginning where we make also a small talk and I start getting to know the person. But also it trains them to be chill in front of the camera, because after the photo shoot, they get a little bit more comfortable in front of it. And in the end, after the photo shoot, we sit down on the park and I set the camera for video and we do a small podcast where they tell me how come they traveled to London, what country they came from, and a short story.
I just heard your autofocus going on and I was like, did it close or? But it's okay.
So yeah, I kept that and I have to make some new episodes actually. Mm-hmm. This is as well seasonal as the photography
will be
outside.
Like
because on
maybe
the winter,
you can combine them with people that are going to do a photo shoot, and then are also interesting to do a podcast with or something like that.
Yeah. And actually I realized I got very lucky because when I finished with my website and it became specifically about photography, I put some ads and my first client was a YouTuber that had a huge following already and he was like top on his level. And I realized that with some clients, you can't build a portfolio. For instance, this guy, I didn't want to put him to sign a model release and stuff like that so I can use the photos, because I was thinking everybody's trying to steal from his fame and use the photos afterwards and say, look, I photographed this guy. And because also at some point he told me that he wants to use me for once per month, I didn't want to start out of nothing asking him, oh, can I use the photos? Can I put it on my portfolio? Blah, blah, blah. And I saw that even now for projects, when I have a new project and I want to try it out, I usually still call my friends and we go out and I test things before I introduce them to my actual clients.
And this way you're also building a portfolio, you're adding this as a showcase. Like instead of trying to say to someone, we can do this and that, they don't really understand, you just show them the picture.
Exactly, how you communicate it.
Yeah.
And it's also for me, because for instance now I made a new setup that I go out with lights at night on the streets. And I had to try it first with somebody that is not my client because I had to pay attention to find setups, how to set the lights, what color combinations to use, what color goes on the backlight or
you're
like
experimenting.
That. Yeah. And I can't experiment with a client.
Yeah,
it's not professional.
He's gonna expect if he's paying for a professional photo shoot.
You have to build the level again.
You can go and do that professionally because you already know what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah. My point is that even if you become a professional, you already have clients, you still have to try out the new ideas with free photo shoots with your friends, and you still have to use your network to experiment. If you don't do it, it's a kind of red flag. It means that you are kind of doing the same things again and again.
Yeah. Did you like the new setup with the lights and everything?
It's very impressive actually. And I got.
Will you niche down only to that, for example?
Actually, I put it. I took out one category on my website and I put it as a new package.
Okay.
So night photo shoots only for when the sun goes down. It's the last 2-3 hours.
Okay, that's cool.
Every day, I will be doing this. And the cool thing that I didn't foreseen is that when we went for the trials, a lot of people were stopping and checking what we do, and I got impressed and I got feedback from the people. Like people came to me and were asking, oh, how much does this cost? And where can I find you? And stuff like that. And it was like the test was like promotional.
It was like advertising.
Action.
Like a promotion.
Exactly. It was better than putting ads on social media.
Yeah, because they see you on action and what you're doing, and
and they see you on action. They see you as a professional doing your craft, and they come to you. You don't have to go to them. That's the difference. Exactly. They come and they ask you. I didn't have to.
You can go there with one client and go back with 5.
Something like that. Especially again, I'm fortunate because I'm in London, that's overpopulated, and I tried this in Soho on a Sunday night. The streets were full of people. And at some point we had like 50 people behind me. I didn't even watch them because I was focusing on my model and communicating and setting the lights. And my assistant told me at some point, man, you have 50 people behind you. Taking photos. I even had a photographer with a DSLR hiding behind me, taking photos of the model.
Stealing photos?
Stealing photos, He's probably going to put them on his portfolio.
You can start charging for stealing photos.
I can give masterclasses actually. On the streets.
That's pretty cool.
It's happy coincidences, the things that you don't calculate and they go beyond the expectations, sometimes.
Yeah. And most of them, until now, you were going to a park because it's quieter and doesn't have a lot of people. But now in the urban state, in the urban location, it appears that maybe it works even better for you because you're gonna get new clients.
It's the difficulty is that I don't like busy backgrounds, of course. So I don't want to show other people on the background. I have to have my main model, the subject as they call it. It's a I don't like this word to use it for people, but this is how they communicate it. And usually I spread half the time on the park and the other half on the streets. A very easy location is Notting Hill, because it has all these colorful houses, and also the people that live in these houses are familiar with photographers because all the photographers go there all the time, so they don't mind. They don't come out and say, "Hey, this is my yard, and what are you doing here? This is private property. Oh, you don't have permission." They don't care. You just take some photos. Even if they notice you from the window, they don't care at all.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's a famous place, and a lot of photographers take photos there. I think how cool it is to see all those famous pictures and say, "Oh, that's my house." Actually, you see the blue house on the background. That's mine.
But yeah, in London you have a lot of neighborhoods you can go and try out. For instance, I like to go to Hyde Park because it's so huge. No matter how populated it is, you will find places and spots with no people at all, because it's so vast. And it's so huge that every time I go there, I always find a different background. Like, even if I have a background in mind, a lot of times I can't remember where I found it because it's so huge. And I'm trying to navigate through to find it. And I go to somewhere else. And I end up somewhere else with a different background. That also works, of course.
How much will it cost to stay there? To buy a house? No, not to buy, actually. I don't know if you can rent, but
in Notting Hill. I don't know, but it's
probably one of the most expensive areas.
Neighborhoods. Yeah. Another one I like a lot is Canary Wharf, but it's also
I remember we went there, and they actually are not, because there is a lot of banks and stuff like that. Sometimes it's weird to
actually. The thing is that the whole area of Canary Wharf, it's full. It's the head office of all the banks and all the huge companies, and the whole area is private property. It's not public. All the streets and everything. And before you go inside, they have bars with police officers that can check. They have the right to check every vehicle. They do random checks, of course. They don't check everybody. But the whole area is private property. And technically, you have to have a release. How to call it? Adya. You have to have permission to shoot there. If they see you with professional gear, they have security guards that check all the cameras, and they come to you and they say,
I remember we were there one day.
They stopped us.
We were like for a lot of hours going back and forth, shooting, going back, here again. So I was sure that at some point they're gonna talk to us. And they actually stopped us
at the end.
At the moment we were leaving, and I had my 360 camera on, which wasn't like, doesn't look professional. And I remember he was like so friendly and polite.
Of course they are.
And
they don't try to bully you at all.
No, he just asked me what you were shooting. Friendly. I said YouTube. And what are you shooting? I was like, me.
That's the difference, because with us it was crystal clear that we are like tourists, kinda. Yeah. But if you go with a model, they will come in immediately. Because they can see from the setup that it's something professional. And you're gonna use it for exposure and all this stuff. So they will come with you.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you're filming yourself, you're just a tourist.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to bring a model and you need to take photos of yourself. Do you want a cigar?
Yeah, of course. Joe Rogan is a
Joe Rogan
experience.
Podcast. Do you want to try? I don't remember. Small ones?
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh.
So we have some really tiny cigars here. We're going to try out. I don't really smoke, but once a year or
Special
once in a
occasions.
while. Yeah, I like to
It's the
enjoy a cigar.
cigars and the pipe. It's not really considering smoking. I think you will do it.
Why?
Yeah, because you have the experience.
I'm gonna fuck it up and then.
Nice.
Do you want
Yeah, of course. Have the sound effects. Nice.
you didn't do it right? Basically, you're trying to have like everywhere to be the same amount. Yeah. I haven't smoked a cigar for very long, I think. Now we're gonna have like the smoke effect even more.
Even more, yeah. So another tip I realized, because I first made my site, I had already my site with a lot of stuff, and then I started cutting, is that it's way easier, for instance, on your portfolio to have to first overbuild it and then decide to start removing
Yeah.
parts. It's the best
Keep
way
only
to...
the best parts.
Yeah.
Do you want water?
No, I'm good.
I'm gonna bring some water. I'm not cutting anything.
Well, I will tell you where you can check out my website, because I talked about it a lot. It's thanosstudio.com. And if you are looking... Sorry. And if you are located in London, you can visit my website, and it has automated booking. So you can go and choose your date and the time and book everything in advance, pay in advance with your card, and everything is automated. I was saying about the automated form I have in my site.
Yeah, that's cool.
That you can go and book me.
Yeah.
And this brings me back to when you check your competition. I saw that a lot of people don't show prices.
Mm-hmm.
I understand this because, as you know as well, for logos, when you take a photo for a person that wants to start building Instagram and they don't have followers, they don't have nothing, it's not fair to charge them the same with some person that has 5 million followers, for instance.
Or a company.
Yeah, because when you take the photo for the company or the person that has already 5 million followers, the exposure is already way different. So the gravity of the final result is different than when you give it to a person and then they have 100 followers.
Yeah.
So that's the mindset when you don't put prices, that you charge according to the use of the product that you deliver. But for me, because I just started, I wanted to show
but even
the price.
later, if you remove the prices, you can keep the same form to do a call with them, because I know that you're doing a call with them before meeting to figure out what they're trying to do and info and stuff. So that's pretty cool. And you're also sending them a pretty professional PDF, I would say.
I said
with all the info.
With all the program that we're gonna do. I say we'll meet at this point at this location at this time. For the next half an hour, we're gonna walk the streets and go to this park. From next hour, we're gonna take the tube and go to this neighborhood and gonna do street photography. I send them also the forecast for the weather. And if it's rainy, of course, we have to reschedule. But if it's not, I send them and I'm gonna tell them that we're gonna have a harsh light or it's gonna be cloudy and it's gonna be like a giant softbox, so it's perfect condition for a photo shoot or what difficulties we're gonna face.
Yeah.
And I also send in the same PDF a mood board of photos that show the color palette we're gonna have, the mood of the portraits and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's very professional because they know exactly what to expect for everything, from the weather to the photo shoot.
And it also shields me, because if in the end, when I deliver the final result, they say, oh, these photos didn't match my expectations or something.
Yeah.
I shield myself and I say, these photos, if you put them next to the mood board, they have the same color palette, they have the same style. And
I think also like it's clearing up everything from the beginning. Like, you are saying this is the weather, there is a possibility of rain. So if there is rain, you can have a disclaimer there that it's not going to rain, but if it does, then we need to cancel. So they already know that before, like 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
So if the day comes and it rains, they already know that it's going to be canceled. It's not like news to them. So
yeah, because it's outdoors. Weather is the only thing you can't control. We don't have control.
Yeah.
So I try my best to shield both of us from this. And it's also the thing that brings you up and down compared to your competition. I try my best to find everything I can do to get me higher on that ladder.
Yeah. And it's like an experience. Like
exactly.
If they try someone else, they're not going to have the same experience. So they're going to remember that. How they felt about the
Actually, I have a story about that as well. Because when I first went to London, I was photographing a lot of my friends that I thought they have interesting characteristics or whatever. And I photographed one of them. And she was in London, I believe, around 3 or 4 years by this time frame. And in the end of the photo shoot, when we were going to part ways, I told her, oh, thank you very much. I will send you the photos in a couple of days, blah, blah, blah. And she told me, actually, I want to tell you that today was the first day of my life in London that I felt like I was 100% myself. And this was very touching to me. And it clicked something in my brain. And I realized that it's not just the final result. And it's not just the technical stuff. It's when you have a photo shoot for this person, it's their birthday, actually. That's how I see it now. That it's everything is about them.
Special day about them, yeah.
And the way I speak to them, back then I did it by accident. It was just my style trying to lose them down. But now when I meet somebody and we start the photo shoot, I tell them, today, leave everything on me. Just be yourself. I'm going to take care of the technical stuff. I'm going to put you in spots that you have the best light on your face. So give everything to me. Let everything to me. I'm going to pose you. I'm going to turn your body. We're going to get all the flattering angles. All this stuff is on me. Today, it's your day. It's about you. You're going to relax and be yourself, and that's it.
Cool.
And this is also part of the experience. This is, you sell, you don't sell just the final photos and that's it. You sell the whole day, the whole experience from the moment they meet you until you leave. You leave them. You want them to have the best day of their year, for instance. And you want to give something that they're gonna be talking about it to their friends and to their family and to their co-workers. It's an event. You sell the whole event.
I think with clients, let's say photography, for example, but I think it's for everyone. They're gonna probably forget at some point that they had this picture in their profile after 4 years, something like that. They're gonna forget the exact details, but they're always going to remember how they felt in that day. So I think going in this way, that's very, very awesome to have.
And there's also a lot of horror stories with photographers. Recently, a friend of mine, her sister was having a wedding. They are in a smaller European country, and she booked the best photographer supposedly in their area, and costed for them 1.5k. For their salaries, it's a huge amount of money. And they booked him because he was supposedly the best on his trade. And they told me that it was like the way he treated them, it was actually disgusting. He was telling them, for instance, he told them in the beginning that when your husband puts the ring, you will turn toward this way. And she didn't. And he went to her after the ceremony, and he told her, I told you to move this way when he puts the ring, you didn't. Now the fault is on you if the photos don't come good. And he told this to her in their wedding day after the ceremony. I'm like, you can't do things like that, treat people like that, especially when they pay you.
Especially in a wedding, I think the photographers should not be noticed. Like,
you have to be a ghost, actually.
But like every band, they shouldn't be thinking about you and taking photos. It should be like you should be the professional and find the way to do it.
Yeah, when you become a diva and you think I am the best, you make the event about you. But if you're a photographer, it's not about you at all.
Yeah.
It's the opposite. You have to make the person feel comfortable, and the way you treat them, it's...
We have so much smoke, I cannot even see. I think it's going to create a cool effect. Or maybe not, if we do this.
Yeah, it's small things like that. But you have to start paying attention to them. And the sooner you realize them, the sooner you will start becoming better and better and better. And it's the healthy competition. I consider it as healthy competition. How you try to step up your game compared to other people. And keep track to what your competition is doing. And try to learn from them. And try to climb higher and higher.
So I'm not sure how long we are going on. This is a Joe Rogan-style podcast with cigars and everything. We went to see him in London on the O2, on the
O2 Arena.
Yeah,
it's actually, I think, the biggest.
That's the biggest in London.
I think so.
It wasn't that big
because it didn't look that big, but big names go there like Lady Gaga. And stuff like that. So he sold out, of course.
Yeah.
But the whole thing.
So
was packed.
It was his stand-up comedy special after a while, I think, right?
Yeah, after 2 or 3 years of
Did you like it?
Oh, of course, I loved it. He had some opening acts as well. But
it was good. I think it was fun. I think the thing that I remember, it was taking out our phones.
Oh yeah, he does that, of course. they lock our phones in a small bag, let's say.
Yeah.
And it has some magnetic lock that's sealed, and you can only open it on the way back when they unlock it.
And I think that's because they don't want you to film
any part,
and,
of course,
because ruin the show.
Because if people start filming, this is his special actually, and if it goes to the internet, people have no reason to.
Yeah, but it also puts you, I think, in a different mindset of looking every detail instead of being distracted by your phone or filming or doing something else. You just do that. And I remember it was awkward because you were standing in line, then you need to go and take something to eat or drink again in the line, and then we are just waiting like this to start. So again, we are just waiting. And normally you're gonna use your phone in those situations, and now we didn't have anything. So basically, we will just
back
talk
to
and
20 years ago.
Yeah. But it also put me in thoughts of like, yeah, exactly. 20 years ago, as a kid, you didn't have a phone. We went outside and that's it. Like maybe you could call from the house phone, your friend or something. But I think we didn't even do that. I was just going to a friend and then find them somewhere and then go outside and play. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's very weird. And then you find how addicted you are to your phone, actually.
Yeah. I realize I'm not that much. I'm a lot in Google and Google Maps. I was doing like a Euro trip by myself, backpacking, just one backpack at that period. And I stopped in London and went to Joe Rogan and then I left. So when I was in Austria, one day I was thinking about that. And I decided to lock my phone for 24 hours in the thing that they have in the hotel, the safe thing. I put it there and I went outside to explore the city without the phone. I remember I went to the museum that day and stuff. So I needed to remember exactly what roads to take, what station to go in. I think I'm pretty good with that, with navigation and knowing where I am.
Okay.
So it wasn't that huge of a deal, I think, for me. Like I tried to remember the stops and they had the weird signs, Vita, like a Greek B, basically in some stops. And I knew that this one is the one I need to remember. And then this one. And then I knew that after I'm out of the station, I need to go straight to this thing. And when I found the roundabout, I tried to remember everything. But I realized that without my phone, I didn't have Google Maps. So I couldn't really navigate. I really need to remember everything. So if I lost like the specific building or thing that I was thinking about
marking
to find and I didn't find, I would go in circles. And the other thing that was annoying was the Google Maps for finding something to eat, because normally I'm gonna check the place and be like, oh, that's have 5 stars and a lot of reviews, that's good. Now I was like, that looks good and this one looks touristy, but maybe it's not. And it was like, random. But I didn't really miss like taking messages or something like that. I didn't miss that. Great. And there was a lot of situations that I thought, oh, this could be a cool story for a photo. For example, I was in the museum and I was like, this could be a cool photo for a story. And then I realized I have my camera with me for vlogging that day. I was like, I can just take a picture with my camera and then upload it as a story if I want. It's like,
I do the opposite.
It was so stupid.
So funny to hear this side of the story, because usually I don't have my DSLR with me. For instance, when I go to work and back and stuff like that, and I see a lot of scenes that I'm like, oh man, I wish I had my DSLR with me. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I have my phone. I can take a photo with my phone.
Yeah, normally it's the opposite.
Yeah.
But yeah, he put me in that mindset of just trying it out and see how it is. But again, I remember when waiting to get in the museum on lines and stuff, it was so awkward because I was doing this with my hand and then I was touching my pocket to get my phone and it wasn't there, and I was like, oh, I forgot something, and I was like, oh no, I just left it.
Yeah, it's weird. We are actually now like the cell phones are parts of us. Like I can't imagine traveling all these distances without my cell phone. Like
how they did it in the old days. Like I'm for the new generations, I'm wondering how they use it, because I'm watching kids, and I remember one time there was like I was in the climbing gym, and the younger kids didn't know the old phones. We gave them one of the old phones, like the Nokia thing with all the buttons, and they were trying to touch the small screen. They thought it was touch, and they didn't know how to use it. So it was very weird to see.
And it's only a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
We are now basically cyborgs. Like, if you think about it, that we use that much, the cell phones, to do so many things that actually change the way our brains work, I believe. Like, before you had to remember a lot of stuff. out of memory, like phone numbers. Now I don't remember any. I used to remember my house, my friends' houses phone number, my grandmother's phone number.
Yeah.
My mother's work phone number. Now I barely remember mine. Only one.
Yeah.
Before I knew like 7, 8 different phone numbers. Now I remember only one. And also the navigating that you said. It's a big deal because now I don't pay attention. I don't have to remember. I just go to Google Maps and it's right there.
Yeah.
You don't have to memorize
I
stuff
still
anymore.
have that instinct though. Like even when I'm using Google Maps, I try to remember like the whole road and exactly the scenery so I can remember to come back without it. But it's a thing that I do without thinking about it. It's like instinct. I just do it. I don't know why.
True.
But yeah, I don't know if this is gonna be an instinct on newer generation, for example. Like they don't need to. It's gonna be normal for them to use all of that. I was thinking also about Tesla, that now it's automate, like the driving is automate, and I'm seeing a lot of YouTube videos of famous YouTubers that tried it out. I don't remember his name right now, but he's like one of the most famous one, and he just took it from his house to the parking of his working, and he just put the road, and Tesla was doing everything. So even in the road that it was blocked because they were doing construction, it changed the route on maps and just followed that and went to the parked there. But the whole time he was so scared, like it was. Normally the idea is that you have auto driving and so you can be relaxed, but he was so much stressed out that it was
because he's used to having the control actually.
Yeah, and I think like the newer generation, they're gonna be used to that.
Yeah,
they're gonna be, you needed to drive. What? You needed to control that. Why? You needed to learn how to drive. That's so weird.
It's crazy.
Didn't ask you about Nootropics.
Oh yeah, we tried today.
I had my first sponsorship for the podcast a month ago, and then send me those. It's not just Nootropics. It has. Oh, maybe I should bring it. It has a lot of things inside.
Vitamins
and
minerals. Okay.
Yeah, vitamin C, D, and some others. They have nootropics, some mushrooms, and some different stuff in there.
Okay.
That helps with metabolism, focus, energy.
Clarity, yeah.
I think it's similar to the nootropics and the pills that we saw. It's like if you have seen the movie Limitless, we're seeing those pills. Obviously, it's not that extreme. But the thing that I noticed about that, it's just a small bottle that you have in the fridge. I have it in the fridge, so it's cool. And you just drink it. It's like a shot in the morning. It's so easier because for the other one, I have another one that I like with nootropics, but it's huge pills that you need to take 7 of them.
7 pills.
So that's very annoying, I think, especially for people that don't like to swallow pills.
Like me.
Yeah. What do you think about it?
This way easier to. You just do this, and that's it. And yeah, it looks very promising.
Also, Joe Rogan actually have it. He talked about it in a podcast recently. I didn't know about it before. I just learned it after I got the sponsorship. And I didn't really want to do something about a product that I don't would use myself.
True.
So that was pretty interesting because I wanted to do also a video on YouTube trying nootropics for 30 days, doing like an experiment, measuring like I didn't because I think there is also a placebo effect with those, and I wanted to measure exactly. So 30 years before starting consuming that, I started taking notes on how much time does it take me to create a title for Netflix, which is something that I do every day nearly. For the 5 years now. So it's not that I'm gonna improve on that.
Yeah.
Or I had like an app with quiz that exercise your brain and having scores on that. I also take notes on my energy in the morning, the middle of the day, and the night. But this is more of Like again, it could be like a bias.
It's a lot of factors, but
yeah, I try to be as scientific as I could, basically.
whoa.
And I wanted to do it 30 days before, 30 days during, and then 30 days after to see when I stop it, how this affects. So I'm in between now, I will say. So maybe you will see the video at some point.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, that's the best way to make sure that you don't fall into placebo effects and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And also, as much as I checked, most of the companies say that you have to try it for at least 3 weeks, like almost 30 days.
Yeah, I think they say the same thing, like 1 to 2 weeks, it will start taking effect.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
It's not a thing that you try it in 1 day and you see results.
Yeah, it's not like a movie.
And usually the companies I researched were super expensive.
Yeah, I think this one is also
okay,
kind of expensive. I think it's 100 and something to get like
per month.
Yeah, to get the 30 bottles basically. Yeah. You could have a subscription which takes the cost down, but I think for the US, which is their main target, it's with their salary it's okay, but with the Greek salary,
for Europe is a bit expensive.
100,
it's too much
for something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
Do you try them every day or you take 1 day off? Because on some companies they say 6 out of.
No, it's every day.
Every day, okay.
And I think it's more like they claim to be all natural and everything, so it's like basically if you consume the ingredient, they have the ingredients or exactly what it is. Right. And like I expect it to be very sweet because those things normally when it's a drink and it's green you think it's gonna be sweet, but it was like the opposite. It was
it was a bit bitter, I can say. Not too much, not extreme, but it wasn't sweet though.
Yeah.
So that's a good sign for me because it feels more natural. Of course.
Me too. I think it's the same thing. It feels more like a medicine than
true. It feels more natural thing. For sure.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait for the video actually. So it's gonna take a couple of months, I guess.
3 months basically. Yeah.
Okay.
But I want to see the results at the end. I try not to look at them. I just take notes every day and not look at them. So I want to go at the end and just feel my reaction on what happened. I'm gonna do like how do you call them? When you mash up all the stats, graph. Stat, like a stat, and then
Okay, let's guess how much as a percentage you will see increase.
Increase. Oh, okay. I think there will be an increase. Again, even as a placebo effect, as a bias, even if I don't really believe in all of that, I think even from that I'm gonna have like a increase, and I'm definitely going to have an increase from the product, obviously.
How much percentage you believe? Because I have a number in my head.
I'll say 8%.
Okay, I was gonna be around there. I would say that it's gonna be a success if you have 9% increase.
Yeah,
I believe usually it's around there.
And I don't know, maybe it sounds small, but I don't know, 9%, it's a lot if you think about it.
It is, yeah.
Like for a whole, like the productivity you have, if you increase it by 1% each day, it's like huge. So 9%, it's, I don't know.
True. No, it is big actually, yeah. Because it expands your limits by 9%. So
yeah. And the other thing that they have, they don't have caffeine, so you can replace your morning coffee, what they say. Because with caffeine, it gives you like a peak of energy and then it drops. Similar with energy drinks, that's gonna give you a peak and then you're like sleepy.
Of course, and pre-workouts actually, caffeine is the main ingredient.
Yeah.
They give you a huge boost of caffeine and that's it.
And they don't have that.
It's the one thing that actually works.
I think it's more a steady increase and then a steady drop. So it's like a smoother.
In general, the idea with the nootropics is that there are only a few nutrients
Mm-hmm.
that from digesting go to the brain, end up to the brain. And it's on rare foods that we don't have access in our everyday diet nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, it's specific mushrooms that we don't find in the supermarket, and or some exotic fruits
Mm-hmm.
that we don't have them again in the supermarket. And the idea is that they grab all these different rare sources, they put them all together in a pill, and by digesting the pill every day, you actually end up
Mm-hmm.
giving nutrients to your brain that you wouldn't otherwise. That's the whole idea around nootropics.
Okay.
And they became popular in Silicon Valley at some point a couple of years ago, because the competition there, it's crazy.
Yeah.
all the programmers and all the elite programmers actually are gathered in one village actually, and they compete with each other. So even small boosts like that can make the difference of
Mhm.
making millions or
Mhm.
being in depth
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, nowadays they stopped this. They were experimenting with microdosing, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Shrooms?
A lot of stuff actually.
Oh, okay.
Whatever.
Well,
Like-
we are in a Joe Rogan podcast, so we can talk about those things actually. And I don't know like how long this is, but I think that most people, they're gonna not even be here right now.
Yeah, true. Okay.
Actually, if you are here, if you are still here with us, still listening, first of all, I really appreciate that you're still here. I think I should give them a gift,
Okay. Yeah, it's time, I guess.
but I don't know why. What? Maybe I could have like I'm gonna pick someone in random. I don't think there's gonna be a lot of people in this one, but I'm gonna pick someone in random. I'm gonna send you a printed t-shirt with one of my designs. So I'm gonna have the
Nice.
link of my Redbubble thing that I print t-shirts there in the description. You can go check it out, and I have like Marvel and Rick and Morty and
Punisher, it's my favorite.
yeah, Punisher. I have like random stuff, and if you want to win one, just go to the comments and start your sentence with the t-shirt that you want, and then continue like write the rest of the comment, whatever it is. So basically, if you want the Iron Man t-shirt, just start with Iron Man, and then oh, that's a cool podcast. I didn't really like it. So this way, I will know that you watched until this
Okay.
specific point of the podcast, but you don't really spoil it for others. So someone else that watching the comments is gonna be Iron Man. Okay, he not going to understand. And
It's gonna be
since I mentioned in the
inside,
beginning that for the people that are gonna watch until the end,
most people are gonna
they're
click
gonna
towards
click
the
on
end.
the end. So I'm gonna leave it in the
So-
middle. So it's gonna be
Yeah,
random.
it's better.
But now the people that are in the middle, they're gonna think, oh, that's cool. I don't need to watch anymore.
I think if they are,
Maybe I'm gonna give a second one. later on.
I think if they are still here, they're gonna stay here.
Yeah. And I'm gonna keep this for how many months?
You know, it's your
I don't
channel.
know.
I don't
Okay,
know.
3 months.
Okay,
After
3 months.
this video is released, you have 3 months, because I'm gonna give them some time to just do it.
Awesome.
But I don't want to have like comments after
Forever.
5 years. Hey man, where's my teacher?
Awesome.
You wanted to tell me about the chef before the podcast.
Oh, true. Yeah, the thing is that lately, well, since I started with exercising and
Mhm.
afterwards with photography and stuff, I decided that before I fall asleep, I educate myself. Instead of watching a Netflix series or something,
Mhm.
I try to watch tutorial or educate myself about food, what to eat, and nutrition and or exercises or stuff like that to learn something. And by doing that, I found out that some things you can take information from a chef that is master on his field and apply it to photography or apply it to graphic design or apply it to your skill. And I think it's very interesting to get other people's success stories and take something out of it and apply it to your craft.
I was watching Neil deGrasse Tyson masterclass about finding the truth. I don't remember the exact title, but it's about finding the real truth. And then as I was watching it, I was like, all of those apply so much in my area of business, like graphic design, which has nothing to do with it. So yeah, you can definitely learn a lot of stuff from random. What's the number one thing you learned from this?
Let me remember the name of the guy because I don't want to.
Yeah, I think the most interesting thing I remember from a chef, maybe I think we were talking about it. It was a chef that said, if you are wondering why you recreate a recipe at your house and you're wondering why it's so good in the restaurant, 10x the amount of butter you put in it.
Oh, that's so true.
If you put so much butter, it's gonna be so delicious.
I heard this from a lot of different chefs. They say that if you go to an expensive restaurant and you have a starter and a main dish and sweet, when you go out, the amount of butter you consumed, it's at least 80% of the whole butter. So imagine every day to cook with 80% of the butter briquette, how to call it.
Yeah.
One thing that stayed with me kinda, it was from Jordan Peterson. And he said that when he was writing his book, it took him a lot of years to remember the exact number, because every sentence he would write it 5 times with different phrasing. He would try to write the same sentence 5 times and then read them again and again and find out which one is the best to put in the book. And he did this for every sentence. And that was actually, this is when you start climbing the ladder again and you find yourself higher than the 50%, I can't say, I guess, that you understand that how important this is. For instance, for me, before I send the final photos, a lot of times I edit the same photo in 4 different ways or 3 different ways. And I do 3 different edits, and then I look at them side by side and I decide which one is the top to send. And it's a super important process that you only take the time to do, because you know it's a waste of time. Your brain doesn't want to agree to this. Yeah. Because your brain wants to do the best result with the least amount of time. Yeah. But this, you say to yourself, listen, no. No, we'll do this and I will do it 3 different times, because I know that only 2% of the photographers will do the same thing. Yeah. So in the end, what you deliver is crazy good compared to what they're used to. You push
yourself to your limits to do a better job. Exactly. I don't remember who it was. It was a rapper. I was hearing like very young, but I remember he was saying that in an interview that every time he needs to put out an album, he writes around 20 to 30 songs, and from them he gonna pick only 8 to put on the album. All the rest he just deletes. It's not singles. It's not, they're never going to be.
He throws them away.
Yeah, he just throws them away. It was like crazy. Like you put so much work to create all of them, and then you just delete them.
I took it actually from stand-up comedy as well, because the way they build their special is that they go on open mics and stuff like that, and they try their if you are well known, you can try even 20 minutes or the starter people try 5 minutes, but they say from these 20 minutes they find the best joke and then they throw away the whole 20 minutes and they keep one joke. And then they build another 20 minutes, they find the best joke, they throw everything away, they keep only that. And they do this a lot of times until all the end jokes are 45 minutes long.
It's all the best.
Make the special. It's like,
that's cool. What's like recently you have been in a lot of stand-up comedies in London.
Oh, yeah,
and
true.
here. What's the best one you went?
Well,
recently?
actually, I was most excited for Joe Rogan because I feel so close to him because I listen to his podcasts every day when I go to the train and back. And I agree with him in a lot of stuff he says.
Mm-hmm.
And he helped me actually with getting into exercises. I think if it wasn't for Joe Rogan, I probably wouldn't have tried exercising, which changed a lot in my life.
Okay.
And I was the most excited I was for Joe Rogan. Very happy and exciting change was Bert Kreischer. That I went there because I like him a lot, and I didn't expect the stand-up comedy to be that great. But it was actually way better than I expected.
It's the one that's on Netflix now? The
Yeah,
special one?
yeah, he just released it on Netflix now. But the important thing is that, again, he had some opening acts, 3 guys. The first one from the live, not on the Netflix. The first one was the worst stand-up comedian I've ever seen. He wasn't even funny at all. Like for the 10 minutes he stayed, we laughed 2 or 3 times towards the end.
Okay.
The second one was bad again, and the third one was kind of okay.
Mm-hmm.
It was okay to be the first one, actually, I guess. So it was disappointing. And then he did something weird that he gave us a break after the opening 3 guys, which usually...
No, not in his time.
No.
Oh, okay.
We had the 3 guys in the beginning, and then we had a break.
Yeah, that's weird, because normally
came.
you build up and then...
Yeah, that's why you bring them to build
not
it.
to have a break.
Anyways, it was weird. So the amazing thing when he came out is that, of course, he took out his shirt and became crazy, like, ah! It's a classic for him.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is that he said that, guys, I know we haven't toured for 3 years, and today I want you to chill and relax. Whatever story you want to hear, you're going to hear today. I'm going to take care of you guys. So chill, sit down and enjoy. I'm going to give you everything you want to hear. And that's what he did, actually. People were saying one word here, one word there. He was saying the whole bit. And he stayed nearly 2 hours, more than 1.5 hours. It was just him saying everything we throw at him. He was saying it. And the cool thing is that because I saw the special on Netflix that day, he skipped like 1 or 2 stories from the special.
Mm-hmm.
So it was interesting to watch the special again because you get some
it's different
new stories that you didn't hear.
Yeah.
And while there, he said a lot of old bits as well towards the end. He said, of course, in the end, he said the machine story.
Yeah.
But it's amazing because even if you know it, you hear it live. So and also he put inside small hints that he didn't put before.
Okay.
So he gave us some extras.
Something extra.
And it was awesome and exciting
I
to
think
hear it
it's
again.
So impressive that anyone else, like is doing stand-up comedy or even anything else, repeating a story, it's not going to work. It's gonna be like, you said this, and the last time you did the stand-up comedy, you're saying the same story, and for him, everyone wants to hear this
every time.
Like if he doesn't tell the story, everyone's gonna be disappointed.
Yeah. And the other cool thing he did is that he did a video call and he called his wife. And she spoke to us through the video call from America, and this was amazing. Like again, I've never seen anybody else do it. And it was something else beyond the expectations. Before I went there, I didn't have the mindset that I didn't expect to have that much fun. So that was impressive, actually. And here in Greece as well, we saw a lot of stand-up comedy. And for the Greek audience, I have to say that the best Greek comedian I've ever seen live was Thomas Zabras, that we saw yesterday.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't know, man. His act was so tight and it looked so worked well.
Yeah. There was a flow.
Yeah, man. It was like actually, I can compare him with American stand-up comedians.
Okay.
Actually, easily. I didn't expect that too. Like, I got very impressed by him.
Okay.
It's amazing. For Greek standards, he was beyond expectations as well. And also, most of the places we went, it was small theaters with a little that small places that could fit like 40 people.
Yeah.
But his place was the biggest, and it was full of people as well.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see that he actually gets the audience he deserves as well.
Yeah, true. If you are still here, let us know in the comments what you're
Look at the camera when you talk to them.
Let us know in the comments what you're doing right now. Like, are you working out, driving?
Yeah, true.
Just watching this on your TV? A lot of expectations here. There will be like one comment.
You give them homework every 1 hour.
I'm just checking to see because I'm not expecting anyone to be like. If one person looks in the whole video, I'm gonna be very impressed. Actually,
okay.
I don't even expect myself to go through the whole video. How much time did we? Yeah, almost
no idea.
2 hours.
Okay.
So we're not there yet. Like Joe Rogan does like 5 hours. 4. What's his usual? Like 3?
Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
No, it's 3. Usually it's long. He has of course, even 4 hour.
Okay. Then maybe the ones that I see, it's
2.5 are usually.
Okay. But it's not typical.
When he hits
normally it's around
3
1
hour
hour for most people.
Yeah. It's the long ones when he hits the 3 hours.
Okay. Because I remember some of them were like 5 hours, something like that. I don't remember which one was.
Yeah, it's the crazy ones. Usually. Every time I come, I go to the sensory deprivation pod.
Yeah, we need to talk about that.
Right.
Yeah. Before we go to relaxation, should we go to... I wanted to ask you about the game. I haven't played it yet. The one that we play every time you come here with scary, how do you call it? Like thriller game? How's it called?
Yeah. The second one was the Little Hope.
Yeah,
called.
but dark
something pictures.
Anthology? Something like that.
Yeah, anthology.
So
pictures.
for people that they don't know, this is a game like it's interactive. And basically you have 5 persons. The best way to play it, if you have 5 people, I think, and each one plays a character. And then as you play, the story will change, the end will change, the interaction between characters, depending on what you choose, they will change. And it's like a thriller thing. I think my favorite one until now was like Little Hope, which is the second one, because
mine too.
It was more like a
the setup was old village with
it was an actual thriller.
Yeah.
But I think they did a better job on the third one. I haven't played the fourth one with the gameplay. Gameplay.
It's
and
way better.
I think they put a target of 8 games that they're gonna release each year. They're gonna release one, but I haven't played the new one. You did play it. How it goes?
Yeah. I'm towards the end.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. Okay. This is actually if you like horror movies and documentaries, stuff like that. It's a known story.
I don't like horror movies actually,
but you like the game.
I really like the game.
Yeah, actually, the game is like you watch a movie, but each person controls.
This is why I like
character, and whatever decision you make, it will change. The things that will happen in the future. So, for instance, if you play an aggressive character and you don't make friends and relationships with the other ones, if you are closer to something happen to you and you will die, nobody will help you. But if you build relationships, you will have somebody to try to help you actually.
And it's very interesting to play, to give a character that will match the character, the person that plays. I remember we were playing the third one and you gave a person to your cousin.
Yeah.
And those two persons in the game, they were like, how do you call? They were like
have a conflict.
And you had like the similar conflict with your character.
Yeah.
So it matched the game so well. Small spoil, there was a point that he needed to either try to save you and both of you die, or cut the rope and let you die. And obviously he was like, I'm gonna let you die.
He cut the rope.
I'm not going to say what happened later on, so I don't spoil it a lot. But it was very interesting to see that, because it was so realistic. It was like playing D&D. And the characters were like matching the characters of what they would normally do.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah,
we had a lot of fun playing. The last game that released recently, it's a known story about a guy that built a hotel. He built the whole thing, and he had all over secret rooms, and he had small eye holes in the walls, and he could watch. And he would torture and actually kill. It's a real story, actually, based on a real story. They have documentaries on Netflix based on that, and movies based on that.
Okay.
And the whole game is based on this concept. And it's a real story.
Personally, I don't like thrillers, scary movies. Most of the time it's because I think they're
fake.
Yeah, not funny, but like I don't know. I don't really enjoy watching them so much. It's boring to me. But this game, because it's interactive, I feel it's more scary. And we actually went to escape room, which is with actors, and it's like a what's the movie? It's called With a Nun.
The Nun. It's called. I checked it.
No, there's
Can show you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be Jamie.
But basically, I really liked the experience there because it was
The Nun.
Okay, nice. And yeah, they had a guy dressed like that, and it was super dark in the room. You're trying to figure out the escape, if you haven't been in an escape room, trying to find numbers and hidden messages to unlock
riddles and all this stuff.
Doors and stuff. And while you do that, sometimes the light will open for a second, like the movies, and then you're gonna see that figure in the corner of the room, and then it closes, and then it opens again, it's closer, and then it does this 3 times, and it's like in your face like that. So I think like an experience was more, I don't know, it was an experience for me. Like in the movies, it's not so much.
Yeah, true.
So it was very interesting. I remember there was like at some point you get into a corridor, and there is that huge guy that appears in the across there as you walk across the corridor, and he was wearing like the wooden legs, the fake legs. And but basically because he did that, he was like taking the whole corridor, like his hand could touch the corners and his leg was touching the corners, and he was coming to you like it's super cool. At some point we're going from room to room, and it's like the whole building basically, because it's very interesting. You're going up with the elevator, and then they have a walkie-talkie, and you immediately start. Because normally for escape rooms that have been before,
a lobby they have, and you wait there,
you wait for the codes, give you some water, we're gonna start in 20 minutes. That's you immediately start. So that was very interesting. And the first thing they asked us was, I want the bravest of you to come to the first door on the left and stand there.
Okay.
And everyone looked at me. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. See you guys. I'm not going to come back, I'm sure. And I went there, and then the doors open. That squeaky thing opens. It's pitch dark. I get in, and then they put a black hood on my head, and they how do you call them when they
drag you?
Yeah. And they put me in a cage and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool. Around the end, going from room to room, I felt that's usual, and then we solved the riddle, and we heard a click, and we were like, something opened, but we went through all the doors, so we couldn't find what door it is. Then we look up, and it was like a thing on the ceiling that you could pull down, and the stairs start to unfold. Okay. And I was pretty excited because it was like a really, scary movie thing to do. And then you go up and there's a small thing that you need to crawl through to get to the next room. And in my mind, for some reason, I thought it's gonna do this, clack, and then gonna fall. I don't know why, but I don't know. It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, they have the escape rooms now in the next level, I think.
Yeah, actually, I have been in an escape room that was like the usual escape room that was based in a thriller, room 33, something like that.
Yeah.
And the only scary part was that at some point someone hit on the door and you poop, poop.
Okay.
And that's it. They didn't have actors. So this was like the next level. So it was pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't tried these ones.
Yeah, maybe should go at some point.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the only part is that the riddles are not that hard. And I guess it makes sense. Because
for some people, if you put too hard, they just
because
they stop trying.
I think the challenge is that it's scary and you're trying to solve the riddle, because there were sometimes I was in the wall trying to solve it and I was focused, and then the guy appears just across my face and was like, whoa. Oh man. But yeah, pretty cool experience. If you haven't tried, I think you should.
Okay.
You have been in escape rooms, right?
Yeah, I've been in London actually.
Mm-hmm.
Here I haven't. In Greece. Yeah, I had the opposite problem. It was the riddles were too hard, and you were required to even read text and stuff like that. And a lot of the people that in my group, they just didn't have the patience to read anything.
Yeah.
They were just trying blindly stuff. So it wasn't that fun.
I do like that also. Like for me, because I know it's fake, so my brain doesn't, connect to. I know this is a game, so I will prefer to have an even more challenging riddle, even in this scary situation. But yeah, it was very fun as an experience, and we asked about them because they have the whole like building, so they don't do like they do this one, and then at some point they're gonna do another one. So it's not like an escape room where you have a lot of rooms that you can go. And I asked him if he has anything else. And so I asked him if they have anything else. And he told me there is another building that you can go. And it's The Purge, the movie that for 24 hours in the US, everyone is allowed to kill and do whatever you want. And he told me that you're going to like it because in the beginning, they're chasing you to kill you and stuff like that. At some point, you find some airsoft guns, and now you are chasing them. So you need to go prepared with clothes that you don't care to be damaged, because you're gonna crawl a lot. You're gonna be like. So I think maybe this is the next one.
Okay. This thing with the actors. It always gives me in the back of my head that what if some of the actors gets fucking crazy actually?
Trying to kill killing people.
In reality.
Well, they have everything on camera.
So horror story.
For me, I was
for real.
I was thinking that there is some guy right now watching the cameras because they're infrared, so they can see you in the dark. You can't see anything. It's pitch black, but they can see you. So it will be so funny for them being like, and then something scary happens. They're like, oh, they will be like so stupid. Like if you had the lights in the same rooms, it will be so stupid. I will look around and be, oh, that was it. Like it would be super stupid. And I asked him in the end. He told me, I'm gonna tell you something. Sometimes we bring friends just to watch and have a laugh at other people trying to solve things and get scared.
Awesome.
So yeah,
I bet in the end of the season they could upload a video on YouTube or something. That's gonna be
maybe I will laugh actually if they do that. But yeah, I think most people they're gonna sue because they're gonna be ashamed. The crazy thing was like you have those scary costumes and makeup and everything, and then at the end you see some sweet guys, like, hey guys, come to meet you. So that was, Do you want to take us to the relaxed part and go to the pod.
Oh, sure. You have stories as well, I guess.
Yeah. If you want to explain what the pod is, actually.
So yeah, it's actually like a capsule. It's called. It has a lot of names. Some people call it sensory deprivation tanks. Other people call them water pods and stuff like that. Actually, I bet pretty much everyone have seen this on series or movies like Stranger Things.
Yeah, Stranger Things. Basically, what Eleven does in the pool. She's floating and everything is dark. That's the idea.
Yeah, the idea is that you go in there. The water is the temperature of your skin. So after a couple of minutes, you don't feel the water. Yeah. The water has, I think, 70% of Epsom salts.
Yeah, so you're floating.
So you're floating. It keeps you high, and you don't even have to hold your head. You leave your head relaxed back. The water goes around here, and it keeps your head up. It keeps everything up.
Yeah.
And it's soundproof, so you close it and you don't hear anything. You don't feel anything because you are floating, so
and you don't
elevated.
see anything.
And at some point you don't even feel the water because it's on your temperature, and it's like you are floating in space. You don't see, you don't hear, so you eliminate your senses one by one. And this helps you actually to put you in a deep meditative state.
Yeah, like if you want to meditate, it takes so much effort and so much years of training.
Yeah,
this is like a cheat code that puts you that removes all the distractions and puts you immediately in that state. I think some people will not be able to handle it that well, like not feeling anything, not seeing anything, not hearing anything.
Yeah, true.
It could be.
Well, it's actually, I think it's
scary.
Very common with some people that, for instance, we call them introverts and extroverts. There are some people that can't stand to being alone in a house.
Yeah.
They go out in the party because they just can't stay with themselves. So for them, I guess it's gonna be hard. So it's not for everybody. But the good thing is that by just describing it, for instance, I described it to a friend, and she was like, "No, I can't go there because I'm claustrophobic." So you know already by hearing what it's about if you want to try it or not. And the other good thing is that even if you feel discomfort at any point, you can open the light or open the door. And that's it.
Yeah, true.
So you can get out of it whenever you want. You're not locked in there.
For me, it felt very natural, I would say. Like, I felt like, oh, that's my place. Like, I immediately close the light. It's like, I don't hear anything. I don't see anything. It's like, I'm closed in here. So as an introvert, it was like, oh, that's my place. I like it.
Now I like it as well, actually. The first time I tried it, the thing is that your brain a lot of times doesn't like to go to these places, and it creates these distractions. So the first time I tried it, I was feeling like I want to scratch myself. In the beginning, I was scratching, and then I said to myself, man, if I keep moving, I lose the point. The point is to stand still and get lost. So if I keep moving, I distract myself and I keep staying awake, and I will never reach the place I want to reach. So I remember so clearly that I was itching so hard. I was thinking, no, I'm not going to do it. And it felt like there you lose the sense of time. You don't know how much time it passed. It felt like a lot of time. But immediately within a second, it moved me into the place I want to be, for instance. Like it dragged me after...
I think it's the same. I also had the scratch and everything, and then I, like, as a tip, I remember to focus on my breathing, and after like doing it for a few seconds, I totally forgot that I want to scratch my nose.
It's all mind tricks. And the other thing that happened in the beginning is that I felt like I'm too long in this closed small capsule, and I don't have oxygen anymore. I can't breathe. Everything was hard. But afterwards, the guy told me that it has an oxygen meter. And
Yeah,
it
something like
actually
that. I think they
brings in oxygen all the time.
Yeah,
It
they're
keeps the levels
not
of
going to
oxygen
suffocate.
stable.
Yeah.
There's no way for you to.
But I think
not
it's a
have
common
oxygen.
thing for most people to feel.
Yeah, this happened only
way.
the first time. Then I realized that it's mind tricks, and they never happen again. Actually,
Yeah.
All the rest of the times I went in there and I just enjoyed them.
Did you had like illusions or
Had some visuals actually.
visuals? Yeah.
It was, I think, the third time I went there.
Mm-hmm.
I had a very strong visual that I saw a huge hand, and in the middle of the palm, it had some water, and I was in this water. It was a huge hand, like gigantic.
Okay.
But instead of feeling fear, I was feeling very calm and very safe. That was a safe place, and it was actually amazing. And back then, I didn't know anything about Buddhism and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But afterwards, you actually told me.
Yeah, it's the palm of Buddha.
The palm
like
of Buddha, and it's a very common place for people that meditate
when
to go
they,
there.
Yeah.
And I started researching actually on the internet. I didn't find a lot of texts or something.
Mm-hmm.
I
think they have a lot in their mythology, especially the how do you call it? I have
the
it,
Monkey King.
The Monkey King that goes in there, and it's.
But I found
different stories, but yeah, I don't know.
I found also a lot of huge structures that they built, huge hands, and people go and walk on the.
Yeah. There is one in Vietnam actually that holds a bridge. Okay. It's like two hands holding a bridge. But then I don't know if I think it's called the hand of God or something like that. So maybe probably that.
Yeah, but the cool thing that I got amazed is that I never heard of these things before. I didn't know about the structures and with the huge hands and all stuff. And I went to this place and I felt like it was so amazing. And actually, the next 2 times that I went to the pod, I had no visuals, nothing. And I was like, man, why I didn't have... And then I said to myself, man, you had the one visual. You had to be thankful for that.
Yeah, I think and like even in the third time, that guy that has it, I think he told us, like you need to do multiple things. Like don't expect to see immediately visuals and stuff like that. Yeah. Or fractals, but fractals I think you can see most common, but visuals I think it's more difficult. I think I had even in the first time I think I had a lot of like fractals and then visuals. The second time was the most extreme, and then the third one was like lower, and I had the same feeling that the second one was the best one and nothing is gonna top this. But every time it's like it's a different thing. You shouldn't be expecting to.
And I think it's also your mental state when you go in there. For instance, when I had the visual with the hand, I had a lot of pressure in London with the day job and all this stuff. And I had a lot of pressure on me from different places. And I had this visual. Then I was here in Greece for another 11 days. I went to the beach and we stayed there in a house with friends, and we were every day chilling at the beach for 6 hours, and we had cocktails and stuff like that. And then I went again before I moved back to London, and I had nothing. It was actually kind of boring because I was staying there and nothing happened. And I realized that because I chilled all these 10 days in a row, I didn't have any pressure built into me to release something. I didn't need anything. I was already chilled. It says
that it's giving you what you need.
Yeah.
So like similar to shrooms and stuff like that, it's gonna give you what you need, not what you want.
Yeah. That's why now I try to go there the first or the second day I'm here, because I have built-in pressure from day job and everyday life problems.
Yeah.
Because I know later on I'm gonna chill, because here I don't have anything to do like that pressures me. I'm just chilling. So I do it in the first day usually when I come here.
Okay.
But it's very interesting.
Yeah. It's like how do you call it? Not medical, but psychological help.
Of course.
The guy said, I remember,
meditation actually.
It's gonna some people cry, some people it's like gonna affect you differently.
Yeah.
And it's gonna depend on what you're experiencing that that time of your lifetime. Like I remember it giving me all the pains, like had a huge pain on my leg, and like it give me 10 times that, for example. It's gonna like whatever hurts
Bothers
you,
you.
it's gonna
It's gonna magnify
that.
it because because you eliminate all the other senses. You feel even the smallest, the slightest disturbance. You just feel it and magnifies.
Now I think every time you visit Greece, you also going there. It's like a tradition.
Yeah, for sure. At least once. We have it also in London, and the pricing is kind of similar actually, because a lot of other things they are way more expensive in London. So I do them when I come here, like ordering food every day and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But this one is actually similar, the pricing, but what I don't like in London is that I have to travel a lot to go there, and I don't want to be in a meditative state and then on my way back to have to go to the tube and travel and do all this shit. Here it's way closer and it's way easier.
I remember the first time we went there, I was still in, like, trying to keep myself like not moving and everything, and it felt like I'm in space, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. So, and I really liked it, but I didn't have any visuals yet or any. I had some fractals, lights moving and stuff, but I didn't have anything. And then I remember he told us about this, that most people will do it to help with their mental health or stuff like that. And I remember thinking at that point that, man, I don't really need any help or anything like that. And immediately the moment I thought about it, I remember it was like falling down from like, it was like stairs falling down, like toop, 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 toop. I was like falling down. It was like being in a pitfall. Like, I don't know how to call it, like when they bury you.
Yeah, okay.
Something like that. So, but it was in stages. I was like, oh, whoa, no. I probably need some help with a lot of stuff. And then I went back to the same level. So it was like very, like that moment it gave me immediately like, really? You don't need help? So that, I think, was the moment that I realized, oh, that's super cool. And the second time, I think I had a lot of visuals. It was like dreaming, and I was jumping from dream to dream and having different visuals. Like it was, I remember it was like changing channels. Like I was zapping and seeing something and then going to the next thing. It was like random stuff. I don't even remember them right now.
Oh, yeah. This is very common, I guess, with psychedelics as well. But
yeah, do you want to go there? Because you had
I guess
we are in a Joe Rogan podcast. I think it's true. It's the only appropriate thing.
I don't know why. I don't want to say details very deep, because I feel like every trip is very personal. And like what I saw, it's for me.
You.
And it's what every person sees. It's too personal. It's for him to understand. And it's like, I think also it's too emotional.
Yeah.
And
I think you could share you could share the first story, which was like a bad experience, because it wasn't like and you got like even from that you got like a big revelation, and then on the second one you can have basics. like you don't need to do everything,
because also the thing is that it's so emotional and so personal that every time I try to say it I start crying and stuff like that.
Okay, you can't cry. No one's gonna see it.
Too deep.
Are you still here with us?
Too emotional and too personal.
Yeah.
Too much.
And just to clarify, I think, because I remember like hearing about shrooms, for example, years ago, and my immediate response was like, that's narcotics, drugs and stuff like that. So I will never try that or something like that. I had never been drunk like from alcohol, because I will enjoy it, but I don't really care about it. So I don't really like the feeling of not having control,
losing the control,
what I'm doing. And then I searched about it more. After your first story, I started searching more about mushrooms, and I realize that it's not like most people are gonna do it in a wrong way. That they're gonna party and then drink, and then they're gonna think, oh, it's gonna be like, we're gonna see things, they're gonna take it. And that's the wrong way to go for it, because I think it's therapeutic
the thing is that
way to
true.
Yeah.
If you look on the history, like it was like from Mayans and like very ancient cultures started experimenting with
even
psychedelic
ancient
mushrooms.
Greece, they had like in the how do you call them?
Elefsinia mysterium called the.
But in the pitharia, they found inside the
barrels
base.
of
they found some
psychedelic
substances. So
yeah, and it goes back to ancient civilizations that they started experimenting with the specific mushrooms. It goes to 7,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always used for specific reasons and for people that had to go through something to find themselves, and it had a very serious approach, and it was never for partying and having fun.
It was more spiritual, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And the main thing for me that I said, yes, I'm gonna try it is, of course, I heard it from Joe Rogan, and I appreciate him a lot, and I started educating myself around that, is that it's not addictive.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have an addictive personality. I got even addicted to sports and to exercising, and everything I do, I get addicted, and I do a lot. So that's why I never tried heroin and stuff like that, because it's
super addictive,
and it's also ego boosting, that I feel like I have nothing to gain from it. But this is ego dissolving experience. It's the opposite. So it's good to come down to earth and realize stuff about
basically
yourself.
What we said about the pod, that it's gonna see where you have problems.
It's the same
mentally.
principles.
It's gonna kick you like in the face, and so you're gonna have a bad experience. But
the thing with mushrooms also that we have to say, I guess, because we talk about this, is that it's not for everybody, first of all. And it's not for young people, especially. Because if you have a history with mental like paranoia or stuff like that, you shouldn't get it, because it can trigger stuff and bring them and magnify them. And the safest way to do it is after your 30s for me. And the safest way is also to the first time to try a small dose, see how you go through it, and if it's okay after a couple of months, to decide if you want to do a normal one or not. And that's it. You can stop there. The thing is also that when you try it, it has the opposite effect of you don't want to try it again, because it's super scary. And
it's scary, it's bad, you feel like shit.
So that's what I did, actually. I went once. I had a friend that he's experienced with this, and he was babysitting me. He was like my shaman, actually, like they do it in the old days. He was taking care of me. He was responsible for me, I guess. And the first time I tried 2.4 grams. That's a very small dose. And it was weird with me, actually, the first time, because I stayed there in a safe place. I was with my friend in his house, and I felt a bit high, and I was euphoric and laughing and stuff like that. But that's it. I felt like I was normal beyond that. And at some point, after 4 hours in, my friend told me that we had to stay 6 hours, because it lasts 6 hours. I was like, man, it's night. I want to go home and stuff like that. And I feel okay, actually. I feel like everything's okay. And my girlfriend wanted to go home as well. She was a bit bored because nothing was happening. It's like, okay, let's go home. I'm like, we're going home. He said, you can stay 2 more hours actually to be sure. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm going home. So we went out and we're going from his house to the train station. And as I'm navigating to my phone, something weird happened. That I was looking at my phone and I was looking around. I'm like, okay, I'm here. And then I would look back on my phone and I would be on another place. And I couldn't remember the in-between. For me, it was like, I'm here and then I teleport there. Mm-hmm. The in-between, I couldn't remember. But it was like high streets with a lot of cars running and stuff like that. And I get super scared. I'm like, man, how did I come from there to here? I can't remember anything. I felt like it was in an instant. And I'm like, man, if I don't pay attention, I can get hit by a car or something like that. Mm-hmm. I start grabbing my girlfriend's hand like crazy and stuff like that. It was super, super scary. I realized I'm tripping. And this happened again and again. And I was getting scared and more scared and more scared. Long story short.
You didn't tell her anything, basically.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to scare her. Mm-hmm. I was thinking that if I tell her that I'm tripping, now she's going to get very scared as well. And I was thinking that it's better to hide it and keep it to myself and try to act normal. But I was super, super scared inside. Long story short, we end up in the train station. And I was waiting for my train. And this thing was coming like waves, coming and going. Mm-hmm. And I see a train coming. And I realize it's my train. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying and I feel like it's going to pull me again. I'm like, man, I have to stay here. Because I have to make sure that we go into the right train and I don't go to the wrong train. Mm-hmm. So I was trying to push it and stay until we go inside and the train is coming and it's pulling me and I have to stay and suddenly everything goes dark and it's all darkness. And I hear the voice of my girlfriend saying, baby. And it brought me back. And I opened my eyes. And the thing that happened is that when it went black for me, I was sitting waiting for the train. And I blacked out. And I fell in front, head down. I went to the my head. Okay. And my glasses fell away. Here I had blood because I fell like that to the ground. And my girlfriend said afterwards that I fell head down to the ground and I had some spasms as well. She got super freaked out.
Okay.
And I hear the voice says, baby. She puts me back sitting and I come back. It's like, you fainted. You just fainted. And I still wanted to play cool. I was like, it's okay. I know. It's okay.
I know. I do this all the time.
And then she realized that something is wrong,
Yeah.
Like this is not a normal reaction.
Yeah.
And anyways, it was a huge deal because the guards came to us. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking to one guard, okay? He's trying to say, what's going on? What happened? Are you under substances and stuff like that? Mm-hmm. I was like, no, I just didn't eat all day and it happened to me before and blah blah blah, so everything is normal, don't worry, and it just happens to me. Lies. And at some point as I'm talking to him, it pulled me again, and when I come back I see 3 guys. And I'm like, man, now what are these 2 you guys? I don't know. Are they police? Are they medics? Are they guards? I didn't know what they are. Mm-hmm. And they all talked to me. And I didn't know what to answer. It was so confusing and I didn't know how to act. At some point, I felt like I'm okay again. Mm-hmm. And I realized that they don't have my ID, they don't have nothing, so they can't. Because they started writing down to report the incident. And I stand up, I say, thank you very much guys for helping me, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, but I'm feeling better now. And I'm going. Mm-hmm. And I noticed they are not police officers, so they couldn't hold me there. Mm-hmm. They didn't have any right. And they told me, no, you have to stay here. We have to record the incident. I'm like, there's no incident because I'm okay now. So thank you very much for everything and goodbye. And I grabbed my girlfriend and we start walking away.
Okay.
So they let us. And now we go outside, and I decided I'm gonna take a Uber to be sure to arrive home and just chill. And actually, that's a bad thing about the mushrooms, that when you are deep inside, you can't go out. It's not like the pod that you open the door and you go out.
Yeah.
You have to stay through the whole process.
If you're trying not to,
you make it worse.
Yeah,
if you
to
fight
go
it,
there,
because you're not gonna win this fight.
Yeah,
at all.
Thank you.
So now I'm calling the Uber on my phone, and I see on my phone that the Uber is in front of me, but I don't see no car. I'm like, what the fuck is going on, man? And I said to my girlfriend, I'm like, man, do you see the dot here in the map in front of us? She's like, yes. Do you see any cars here? It's like, no. I'm like, thank you very much. Okay, I'm not crazy. And then I getting paranoid, and I was thinking that it's all in my brain that I'm still on my friend's couch tripping. And I'm gonna wake up on my friend's couch. That is not normal to have an Uber showing in front of you and not be there. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I'm still tripping. I'm gonna wake up on my friend's couch at some point. So I don't care what happens. This is a dream. Man, so dangerous. And at some point, my girlfriend realizes that I'm not normal. And it's like, okay, give me the phone. I'm gonna call the driver to see what the fuck is going on. And the thing is that behind us, there was some stairs that go down, but apparently the GPS doesn't tell the height difference. They can't read it. They can read only right and like. And the guy was under the stairs. There was another street. He was there, and the GPS misplaced him. So he was down there, and we got into the car. And then I had a weird experience as well. That he was going, I was in the back seat, and he was driving through some right and left was all trees and dark. He had the lights, you could see the trees. And I had a huge slow motion that I could see the normal speed, and then it started going slow motion. And I felt like it pulled me in like, not right, left, up and down. It put me in another dimension. And I was in a dark place, and I was watching like a projector in front of me, watching what my eyes see from my body, but I was in a different place. And it was going on very slow motion, like frame by frame by frame, slow. And I was feeling very peaceful, and I was feeling, I didn't have a body there, but I was like in a fetal position, kind of like that. And I was there in the darkness all alone, and it was very peaceful though. I wasn't scared, but I didn't know how long I'm gonna be there. I'm like, man, if I stay like that until we reach the house and experience it slowly, it's gonna be years for me until in the real world it's gonna be 20 minutes.
And for you it's gonna be 20
for
years.
me it's gonna be it's gonna be so much. So what are you gonna do? And the weird thing is that my girlfriend is next to me. I know she's next to me, but I can't communicate with her because for me times goes differently than normal time. So I don't have access to talk to her or anything. It's so weird. And I'm having all these thoughts. Anyways, I came back to my senses. We went back home, and I slept it over, and it was okay afterwards. Like when I went home, I was done. It was actually after the 6 hours that this thing lasts. So it was okay, but it was super scary. And when we are home now, I started explaining to my girlfriend the whole thing, because I didn't tell her anything. She didn't know I'm tripping at all. She noticed some strange behaviors, but she didn't know what's going on inside me. And as I'm telling her everything, she told me, man, you should just tell me that you are tripping, and either A, we would go back to your friend's house, stay another 2 hours, and we would be in a safe space, or B, we would take Uber immediately. Not go to the train station. You wouldn't faint, you wouldn't fall down, you wouldn't have the guards coming to you and all this stuff. So you hurt yourself for no reason, actually. You did this to yourself. And when I was scared, I was saying, fucking mushrooms. I was thinking, fucking mushrooms, they did this to me. They put me through this, all this. I could have been hit by a car, blah, blah, blah. Why I did this to myself and blah, blah, blah. But then when she explained it like that from her side, I realized that I do this my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Like I value too much what other people think of me. Mm-hmm. And for instance, when my father died, I didn't want to show to my mother or my brother or my sister. I didn't want them to see me cry, and I didn't express my feelings to them at all. And I was trying to be serious all the time and not show any emotions. And in the end, this hurts my relationship with them because maybe they think that it doesn't bother me at all that my father died. But deep inside, it was hurting me so much. And I just want to play tough. And I didn't want to show them. I didn't want to express my emotions. And I realized what bad behavior this is from my side, and it's not healthy, not even for me, but not for the people around me as well.
Yeah.
And this was a huge lesson for me at the moment. It was super emotional as well when I realized it. I burst into tears and I was thinking to call my mother immediately and tell her a lot of stuff, which I did later on. But this helped me so much I feel like it would take me 3 years of psychotherapy with a specialist to get the message I got in one day with the mushrooms.
And you didn't even go through the experience. It was like, I don't know, not just a bad trip. It was like the whole experience was off. Like
and it was. The thing is that I broke a lot of rules. The rules are that you have to be in a safe space with a person looking after you.
And you need to wait whatever happens.
So I broke these rules and I went out. I was tripping outside, and the only person that was next to me, I didn't tell them I'm tripping. So she didn't supervise me at all because she didn't know that she has to supervise me. So it was a lot of red flags, and it was a big lesson for me.
Yeah, but it's impressive that you learn so much, even through.
And how it changed my mind that I was blaming the mushrooms, and in the end, I was thanking the mushrooms that they gave me all this insight.
Yeah.
And
I think that's the point with mushrooms. You're gonna have the bad experience, and then either you're gonna blame it and then never try it again, or you're gonna realize the meaning of it. And
it's the ego actually that keeps you. The ego that keeps you high, and you blame the mushrooms, and you're like, fucking mushrooms, you fucked me up. And then when you have to dissolve the ego and be like, man, it was my fault. I brought all this to myself.
Yeah.
And if I was treating the situation properly, it wouldn't happen at all. Yeah. So I created all the mistakes.
Yeah.
I'm to blame. And this is with psychotherapy as well. What they say that you have to understand the problem, that there is a problem, and acknowledge it in order to treat it. If you don't see the problem, you will never treat it.
If you don't accept it yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's why you also need to research about it and want to do shrooms in that way, not just for partying or something.
Exactly.
Like that. You need to realize it yourself. I need to reboot everything. So we did a small pause. I want to tell you that I think the shot that we took, the Magic Mind,
Nootropic.
I think it kind of works.
Me too, actually.
I realized I will take the break. I was talking about business with a client, and normally I wouldn't do that. I like, my brain is fucked up. Even like when I do a podcast for 1 hour, we're at 2 hours and 40 minutes.
2 hours in.
My brain is like burned. I need to chill for an hour because I cannot think about how to reply, especially in English. And I started replying, and then I realized, no, that's not a good word. And I thought about another word it's not even, I wouldn't think it's in my vocabulary. I wouldn't use it normally. And I was like, at that moment, I was like, oh, I'm kind of like, my brain functions really well. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
Joe Rogan also says that when he's doing MMA, the voiceovers, that because now he's not that much involved, he doesn't play every day and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There are some technical terms that are hard to come to him.
He forgets them.
Before the voiceovers, he always takes
Nootropics.
because it helps a lot
with the memory
to bring the words faster to his brain.
Okay, that's cool.
And
by the way, it's very like I was interested in martial arts, watching some MMA fights in the past, but I didn't know Joe Rogan. I remember him from like Fear Factor or something like that, but I didn't felt that I know him like now watching the podcast and everything. And now it's like I'm hearing the voice, like the voiceover of the match, and it's very funny to hear his voice. Like I feel like I know him, but I don't. Yeah. It will be like I'm hearing you doing the voiceover, something like that.
It's funny how when you hear his voice, even if you're not seeing his face, you can visualize his facial expressions.
Yeah, because you have seen it so much.
You know.
So you shared your first story.
Yeah, my first experience.
First of all, thank you for doing that, because I know that, as you said in the beginning, like shrooms can be like all of those can be very personal, and it's weird to share them online, I think, because you don't know how people are gonna react, and I think most people, they're gonna have a specific mindset and they not going to hear exactly what you're saying. They're gonna just
treat you as a junkie or something.
Yeah. Not only for shrooms, like whatever you put online, I think.
Yeah.
That's the so I need to start also sharing more, I think, especially in this one. Parenthesis, I was thinking I need to start sharing more on my YouTube videos about pricing, but saying the real exact prices. Like I'm talking about how to charge a client, and I will do like examples, but I would like to start saying the exact price that I charge a specific client.
Yeah.
And I haven't done that because I have that fear of people. They're gonna be like, "Oh, you're charging so much. Oh, you're charging so little." You know, they're gonna judge you. And then I was thinking that everyone is doing that on YouTube. They are like as a society, we don't want to talk that much
like
about
a taboo.
Money and what we share. So I was thinking that from now on, the next videos, I will start maybe share like details, and
whatever happens.
Yeah, that's it. Like,
yeah, I think in the end people will appreciate, because there's a lot of people that need to hear this.
Yeah,
they don't have access.
Especially in the beginning.
So yeah, for me it helped me a lot.
Yeah,
as well. I had before I changed my site, I tried with a professional photographer that is based in London, and she's super famous. She has a YouTube channel, and she has a program that you pay £160 and you have 1 hour video call when she goes through your portfolio and she gives you
mentoring, basically.
Yeah, she's mentoring you. Yeah. And I tried this and it helped me a lot. And one of the biggest questions was that, based in my portfolio, what do you suggest me to start charging? And for instance, in London, for beginners, it's from £150 to £350. It's told me clearly from your portfolio, if you do all the steps we said to change your site and niche down and blah, 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 you can start on the high level. Yeah, 350. And I was like shocked. I wouldn't expect this.
I remember that because you were telling me to charge around 100, something like that. And I was like, that's not a lot. That's too little. And even 350 for London, I think it's not much.
True.
But hearing it from like a professional in the field that is in London obviously has a bigger impact than me saying it to you. True. So yeah.
It's also, who says to you? But yeah, I think it's gonna be a game changer on your YouTube channel.
Okay.
Because the taboo topics that people don't want to talk about, if you start talking about it, you're gonna help a lot of people actually.
Yeah.
That's also your goal.
Yeah, true. Okay. So after having this crazy experience. You decided to try it once more, but this time properly.
Yeah.
After how long did you wait?
I think I waited more than 6 months. I'm not sure because
I thought it was like 1 year or something.
Yeah, I think it was around there actually.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't keep a journal and I don't pay much attention to stuff, but yeah, it was about a year, 6 months to a year, around there. And well, the days immediately after, I had this thing that I shouldn't try this ever again.
Yeah, of course.
But the back of my head from then, I was keeping an open, a 10% chance that I will try it once properly, because that was my goal since the beginning.
Yeah.
The first time was a small test, and then the goal was to try a normal trip. And actually, that's what I did. I did one more time, and I did it properly this time. I didn't put any red flags. I did everything by the book.
Yeah.
And what I did was closer to sensory deprivation tank, kinda, because I was laid down on a couch. I had a eye mask, so I had closed eyes, and I had headphones. I created a playlist with instrumental songs, classical songs, or from movie soundtracks that don't have beats and don't have words.
Yeah.
It's just instrumental and very peaceful music. And I had this long playlist, and I was laying down the whole time, and it was actually the normal experience.
Yeah.
This time I took 4.5 grams, I think, around there.
Okay, so it wasn't here. It was like almost.
Yeah. I didn't want to overdo it as well. But I said to myself, I'm going to take enough that's closer to the here, because that's going to be my final
time.
Yeah. Well, I still have in my mind that if I go to my 50s or 60s and I have something to solve, maybe I will try it again.
Yeah.
But that's a maybe. It's not now. I don't feel like I have to do another one or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I did the big one and I did it properly, and it gave me what I needed.
Yeah.
And this was a way different experience, way more spiritual, because it had stages actually. Like the first stage was that I was with closed eyes listening to the music, and I started seeing visuals and shapes and colors and 3D, and it was weird. In the beginning I felt like it comes out of here and it starts like, I don't know if I can say pixels or what. They come out of here and start building something according to the song I listen. Okay. And the colors change and becomes more vibrant according to the mood of the song as the melodies go. And at some point I felt that I'm creating this, what I see. And I give them shape and I change them according to the song. And
cool.
It's very weird. If you Google, they have some videos that are kind of close to what I was watching. If you search psychedelic shapes and stuff like that. But it was very unique. And at some point I raised the volume and then everything became more vibrant and everything more. It was amazing. I felt super happy and super good, and a lot of times I was holding myself not to start laughing out loud. Like, this is amazing. To stay silent and keep it in a low reaction. And what was amazing experience. Then at some point I said to myself that this is good, but I want to go deeper and stuff like that. And then I felt like I'm a ball of energy or something like that. That I went higher and I left my body. And I felt like I have some layers that keep me and I can't go higher. And I started taking out these layers. And I felt like they are part of me, part of my being. And I was taking them out and I was saying to the universe, this is for you, I gift it for you, it's part of me, but I take them off and I give it to you.
Okay.
And it's like a gift and you can do whatever you want with them. And I was taking them with a very good will and very humble. and I was gifting them to the universe, and I was taking them out, and then I took them nearly all out. I think this is like the ego death that Joe Rogan says. That's ego dissolving experience. And then I became something more pure and like a missile or something.
Okay.
It took me higher. Then I saw something weird that is out of context, kind of with spirituality, I guess. I don't know. I saw a UFO.
I think a lot of people say that they see UFOs.
Yeah, actually. I don't know a lot of experiences actually, but they say it's kind of common. And I saw a UFO, and I'm like, oh, I was very excited. This is something weird. This is why I'm here, to experience something weird. But it started approaching me, and when it came very close, I saw how huge it is, and I got very scared. Like, fuck, this is huge. I'm not ready for this. And I went back to my body, and I left. And then
so
I started.
You came back to the real world.
Yeah, I came back to the real world, and for instance, I could still move. I felt my hands again in my body. And I could still scratch myself if I wanted or something like that. But I said to myself, I'm doing this once, so I have to go deep again because I'm not gonna try it again.
Yeah,
this is my only chance, and I'm here to do something meaningful, supposedly to explore something and stuff like that. So I went to the first stage again with the colors and the music, and I tried to go deeper and deeper again. And I had again this ego dissolving thing. Anyways, I don't want to say specifics because
you don't have to.
If it's personal, I told you I'm gonna start crying and stuff like that. Today I don't feel like doing it. But the main thing, I guess, is that I went super deep, beyond my expectations, and I had communications with other beings and stuff like that. And I think it had a lot to do with the changes I did in the future with my body and all this stuff. Like, if I didn't have the trip, I wouldn't change my lifestyle. And it sounds weird for people, but I was oversized already. I was being oversized, and I could be obese by now, I guess. And I feel it had to do with the changes I did in my life a lot.
Okay. I remember the scary thing that you said was that you felt that you are there for many years.
Yeah, I had a weird part where I went, I don't know how to call it, in a dark place, and I stayed there alone I felt like it was like 100 years at least, but minute by minute. And I stayed there for a lot of years, and I was all alone.
That must be.
And I felt like
so scary to.
Yeah, I was actually desperate at some point.
You are actually experiencing it like.
Yeah,
like now, but it's real time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like we're saying, oh, it felt like 10 years. It's really 10 years.
Context. Before that, actually, I communicated with some beings there, and it was like telepathically. Like, it didn't go through language.
Yeah.
What they were thinking, they were transferring it in my brain, and I was understanding it without going through the medium of language. So if I tell you now what they told me and what I told them, I have to translate it into words because it was pure thoughts coming back and forth with them.
Okay.
And I spoke with my father as well. That was the touching part, that my father died like 15 years ago. And I saw him there. I spoke with him. He spoke with me. And after that, I went to this dark place, and I stayed there for like 100 years at least. I felt like how I can describe it is that in the beginning it was me and my thoughts. I was like a ball of light, like energy, and it was myself without the ego, like my pure self, let's say, without the animalistic part we have as humans. Like, eating, having sex, and stuff like that, they were dissolved entirely, and it was your pure self, kinda, I can say. So I was there for like, I felt like alone in the darkness, me and my thoughts, for a lot of years. And at some point, I was started forgetting even the language. So how I can describe it is how you have a dolphin or a dog that they don't speak, they don't have the language, but they exist and they know they exist. And I was feeling kind of like that, or like a bird, or like a chicken or something like that. But I forgot words. I couldn't remember words. I felt like I myself, but even in thinking, I couldn't form words. I forgot them. And then it was very hard to come back to my body. But I made it. I came back. And it was when I opened my eyes and I saw my friend that was watching me, I felt like I see another being after 100 years alone in the darkness.
Wow.
Okay. And I started crying, but it was cries of gratitude, you know? That I'm not alone anymore.
Yeah.
Have somebody else. That was fucking crazy. I started crying and I hugged him. I couldn't let him go.
Okay.
It was a very deep experience. Yeah. And another thing I noticed is that when I was there, I didn't have eyes to see. I was feeling the things around me. It was very different than the experience we have here. And when I opened my eyes, I looked around and I saw the wall. And I said, man, this is fake. How is this so fake? It's really fake, man. It's really fake. Because when I was there a moment ago and I had other experiences and interactions, it felt more real than the senses we have here.
Okay.
And when I had this telepathic communication with other beings, it felt so strong and so real that when I opened my eyes here, I felt like this wall doesn't have life. It doesn't have self, you know? It's not a being. It's just a wall and it's fake. I felt like the only comparison I can give is when you first put a VR set and you're like, okay, this is not real. This is graphics. I feel like that when I opened my eyes, that all this, it's fucking fake. It's very close to...
Welcome to the Matrix.
Yeah, it's very close to Matrix, man. Very, very close. It had so many parallels with Matrix. Yeah, it was very weird. Yeah, so when I came back, it was very hard for me to adapt to reality. And I had some moments that it was very blurry to me. Like I said to my friend, man, what is real? I don't understand what's real. And back then, this question, it was so deep for me.
Yeah.
Or I had some revelations that I have to appreciate life because before I wasn't appreciating it. And I have to make a list of what things I'm thankful for having my life here and stuff like that. And it changed my perspective so much to appreciate stuff. Like even when I'm going from the train from home to my work, I look outside the nature and I'm like, man, look where I am. I have all these trees, the clouds, and I start watching them. Instead of being on my phone, I look around and I appreciate that I'm here and stuff like that. So yeah, it helped me so much, man. I don't know what to say. It was an experience, amazing experience. But I don't want to try it again because coming back to reality, it was very difficult back then for me. Yeah. And my friend told me that this thing that I had, that I was asking, man, what's real? Can't understand what's real. Because I come from there, that everything was more real than here. And then I come here and everything looks fake or something like that for the in-between stage until I fully come back. And he told me that some people stay in that stage. That everything feels fake for them for the rest of their life. It didn't happen to me. Like when the
Okay.
6 hour passed, I was fully packed myself and everything was normal for me again. And it had the opposite effect, that I appreciate being here.
Yeah.
And for what time is left for me or for the rest of my life until I die, I want to experience the here. That was the message that I got, that as long as I'm alive, I have to stay here, because I felt like I came from this place here. And when I die, I'm going to go back there. It was crystal clear to me that this is going to happen to me. And my time here is limited, but my time there will be like eternal, like it's different. So as long as I'm here, I have to make connections with people, because I felt like in the end of the day, when I die, my life is going to be defined by 10 moments that I remember them because I gave value to them and I don't allow myself to forget them. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, some of them are cheerful, some of them are painful. And they are the moments that I treasure and I don't allow myself to forget. Because, for instance, 15 years ago, I don't remember my everyday life and all the moments in between. I had talks with my friends. I don't remember what we said exactly. So what I will take with me, it's a few moments that I treasure. So as I'm here, I want to create more of these moments for me, but also for the people around me, to take more moments with them when they die, for instance. So they don't have 5 moments they remember, they have another 5 that we created together. And it helped me a lot with the relationship with my mother, that I told her the whole experience and I shared it with her, and it helped both of us a lot. Like now I feel free to call her on a video call and speak to her about thoughts I have or about stuff I experienced. And I don't know, like this thing changed my whole life actually. And I made a tattoo, my first tattoo.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that.
And I can send you a photo.
It's
actually this,
symbolize your experience.
Yeah. So I keep it with me and I don't forget about it. Because I only shared it with a couple of friends, like you, my mother, my girlfriend, and the guy that who had the experience, and a couple of close friends. So I said this story like 4 or 5 times, and that's it, actually. Some of these people told me that after hearing the whole thing, that it helped them a lot, because we kept communicating for the days afterwards and stuff like that. Some of them believe that the whole thing is in my imagination, like you have a dream, because I have the substance that I imagined everything. Other people believe that there's something else and I went there for real. I accept everything. Like I can't tell that my version is the right one and yours is not. But as I experienced it, where I went, it was 10 times more real than here. So I feel like I have a strong feeling that that's where I came from and that's where I'm going from. That I have something to go after life, after dying here.
I think it's one of those things that if you haven't tried, you cannot really understand how it works and everything. So you don't really can communicate in the same level.
Yeah, and also me, when I'm describing some stuff to you,
which is
I can't give you the whole experience.
Yeah, of course.
It's different truths, different.
Yeah, even like not only
see,
visually, you cannot describe it. It's also like psychologically what you felt and everything. It's you cannot,
I can't
like
give you
saying I was there for 100 years. I can imagine how scary that feels, and that if you really was for 100 years in a dark room,
all alone,
you will obviously forgot how to speak to people, but at the same time, I didn't live the same thing, so it's not the same.
And also, what I have to say is that the after my trip, the first 4 or 5 days, I had very vivid. I could bring back a lot of images. Now I can't, because it's been a lot of months ago, and they started fading. They are not that strong. I remember I was at my home, and I could bring back memories that are so vivid that I could close my eyes and see things I saw there. Now I can't do this anymore, because it's been all these months, and they started fading and fading and fading. And that's why I decided to do the tattoo, just in case, like to try to keep it a bit closer for some more time. Yeah, that was basically it.
It's pretty cool, man. Thank you for sharing the story, actually.
Yeah, like the thing is that I found comfort hearing other people's stories that had similar experiences, not just with mushrooms, but there is ayahuasca, or other people from just meditation.
Yeah,
they can reach these levels.
Yeah. You need to be like doing it for 20 years, but exercising for 20 years. But I think you can do it.
Yeah, you can reach
even if you don't
with meditation
take something. Basically, this is like cheating.
Yeah, true. And that's actually the danger, because if you reach this level with meditation, you gradually build yourself
to be able to sustain
to experience it.
Yeah.
But if you just go there
immediately,
and you're not prepared, bad things can happen, and some people get traumas.
It's like
they come back with
you just learned how to walk as a kid, and then they give you to drive a
run
rocket,
a marathon or something.
It's like you haven't built up, and I think like ancient cultures, this is what they did. Like you were building up as a kid, and then you took the substances when you were an adult to reach the adulthood or something like that. It wasn't like immediate, like so you were training in order to get to that level.
Exactly.
As I started searching this, in the beginning I didn't like shrooms, because I heard that people will do it, as you said, in a house, something like that. I really liked ayahuasca, because the idea is you need to travel to the South America and then go to the Amazon, and they're gonna take you by boat through a river. You're gonna go to a resort.
You have for 1 week to don't have alcohol, don't smoke.
Actually, they say that this is the same for even shrooms. If you want to have a good experience, you should do the same. But they say that for 1 week, no alcohol. You need to eat properly, don't eat junk food, meditate if you can, and stuff like that. And then you need to basically you're going to have like diarrhea and also
vomit.
Throw up. So it's
part
kind
of the process.
Clean up your body, basically spiritually and physically. And then you're gonna stay there for 2 weeks, I think. And then they give you a small portion to see how you're gonna react more and more, and until you. So it's a whole experience to be in the Amazon forest, like. So I like this idea, because you need to do the whole trip to get to the trip, and this means that you're gonna do it once in your lifetime. So it's gonna be like a huge experience. It's not going to be just I'm gonna go to my friend and
True.
And I had the same thoughts as you said of not being wanting to take it a lot afterwards, being addicted to it. And I thought that if you do this, you cannot be addicted to it, because you're never going to do the same trip back there to the Amazon, and it's gonna be like it's one-time experience. But yeah, I think I would love to do that at some point. Travel there, do it one time. But yeah, I thought about it more like as the actual experience. I will enjoy that by itself, even if I don't get like any illusions or any visuals. But I think I will get some. I even got some in the pod, so I think.
Oh yeah, true. So there you go. See a lot of stuff, I guess.
But after you sharing those stories with me and all the experiences, I wanted to try. So it was the last time, or it was like, I don't remember how long ago it was. I think it was 1 year ago when I visited. And I met your friend there. And I remember it was difficult for him to tell me how much to take.
Yeah, that's also
because
true.
I never have been like drunk or something like that to see, how I'm gonna react and stuff. And I told him, like, he told me after, I think, that normally he will give me 1.5, like the first time, and then see how I'm gonna react. And then the next time after 6 months or something,
at least,
he gonna give me more. But I told him that I don't want to do this like a second time. It's gonna be like even this was it's an extreme for me. Like normally I wanted to just do the Amazon thing and get over with it. So this is gonna be probably one time, and I'm not going to come back. So I think we end up at 3.5. But I had the same thing as you. It didn't affect me. I like in the real world. So here's the thing. I took also your advice, and I had the mask that you put on. And this mask is not the usual one. It has like extra padding. So I can have my eyes open, similar to the pod. So my eyes wasn't closed. I could actually look, but it was black. And then I had my headphones, but didn't have any songs. I actually had it in noise cancellation just to be quieter. And lay down. So the thing is, whenever I put the mask, it was like VR. The moment I put it, immediately visual starts to play. The moment I remove it, but I still be able to hear you or what's happening in my body and everything. And then I can just remove it and it stops. And I remember that like the first I put it, lay down, and then the first time I removed it to go to the bathroom, he started asking me how I feel, stuff. I'm like, okay, like I don't feel anything. Like in the real world, I didn't feel like even drunk or anything. It was like, it didn't affect me. I could also stand up, walk, talk. He was trying to tell me, like, look at this thing which had multiple cores. Does it move or something like that? Look outside the window. I was like, nope.
Everything is normal.
Yeah, so it didn't really affect me, but I was seeing a lot of visuals. I think
when you close them, when
like
you wear the mask.
The moment I put the mask, immediately, like the first time, immediately I got them, and I remember in the beginning, my stomach hurt a lot.
Okay, because you didn't eat anything the whole day, maybe.
I think like I have from childhood like problems with my stomach or something like that. And now they're like this last year I have a lot of issues with my stomach, and I will say, oh, maybe the shrooms were trying to tell me this is where you have an issue, and I didn't listen. And I remember that I felt my stomach like weird, and then like the first thing that I experienced was that I was in the bottom of a lake. My stomach is the only part in the bottom of the lake that it's like the water part, so it's cold, and the rest of my body is just the mud, I will say, like it's part of the dirt on the bottom of the lake. And then I start like rising, and suddenly I see a huge dragon passing over top of me. But it was like huge because I see just the under of the head and the belly. So I was like, I had the same thing with you. I was like ready to laugh and say, wow, that's amazing, but I was keeping it down. So I had a lot of visuals that were a mix. It was like a dream, I will say, where it's like you have the real world with a lot of things, a lot of details, but you're focusing on stuff. So you cannot really remember what's happening. And then it goes through like to another thing. So for me, it was like a mix of reality, 3D. Sometimes it was like cartoonish or Disney. Sometimes it was very realistic. Sometimes it was like black and white. Sometimes it was like cutout cardboards. How do you call them? Like puppeteering. So it was like different random styles mixed together, but it wasn't like a specific thing. Like the dragon was the simplest one. This is why I remember it. It was the beginning. All the others was like a mix of crazy things.
Yeah, when I heard a lot of people having similar with your description, and I get a bit jealous because I didn't have this kind of visual stuff.
Yeah.
Like even when I left my body and I went out, I was like a ball of light, and all the beings were also balls of light, which sounds a bit boring. When I hear your description and other people's description that are similar to yours, I'm like, man, why didn't I see all these things?
But the thing is, I heard more about like yours. Like you're gonna leave something out of this world and you're gonna have like a crazy experience and you're gonna learn stuff and lessons. And me, I had only like crazy visuals, but I didn't have that. So I was like, why do I have, like, that's pretty cool, but why don't I don't have? So I think it's what we said, it gives you what you need to have. Exactly. So for me, I didn't go outside, but most people will say you're gonna contact other worlds or other
beings,
creatures. Yeah. For me, I was basically going around my head. It was like I'm making a tour of my brain. Like I was exploring my brain, like in a way, and being creative. Maybe those was like, this is how I felt, like I'm exploring what's going on inside.
It's also what you said that for it's not specific grams for everybody. I had a friend that had a different person that had a lot of experiences with psychedelics, and she told me, why you want to take 4.5? It's too much. You have to take 3.5. But then I realized that this person is way shorter than me and way skinnier than me. So for her, 3.5. For me, it's going to be 4.5 actually, I guess. And but if you have a tolerance as well, probably.
So sometimes I search it and they say it's not but it's not like alcohol. It's basically your stomach can absorb it or not. So for me, probably doesn't absorb it that much. So I don't have the same effect. That's why I was like normal. When I removed my mask, I was like we're talking right now.
Yeah, and this is why I like the mask thing, because you don't blend reality.
Actually, this is what I like, that I can.
That you separate.
I felt that I was in the pod. I could control it. I can put the mask or remove it, and when I remove it, nothing happens. Funny story, right? One moment I removed my mask and you were just standing there, like sitting there with the other guy, and he has that huge TV that plays like those documentaries, and this is like some amazing 8K footage that if you see them, it's like you don't even need to take anything. It's like crazy looking. And at some point they had like a time lapse of the Grand Canyon going like very fast, and then it stops, freezes for a moment, and then continues to go back fast. But for some reason I open my mask and I look at the TV and see that going fast, and then it stops, and then I just see you continue watching TV. And for me it felt like that the TV still watching something else and you watching it, but for me it just froze in that frame. And I remember asking you, did it also froze for you for a moment, or it was only for me? I felt like it's gonna stay there forever, like for 10 years I'm gonna have the same frame.
There's also a common thing when you take psychedelics that a lot of people said, that at this moment you feel like you are broken forever and you're gonna experience life like that forever. Which is not true, of course. When the 6 hours pass, you come back to normal. Usually.
Like even in the moment, I remember that, now this is gonna take 8 hours, but for me it's gonna feel like longer. And now it's just 1 hour passed and I need to wait 6 hours. But I remember I knew that I need to accept it. And even if it's something scary, I need to accept it. And I had a lot of scary visuals where they're like scary, disgusting, and I don't know, it didn't feel right. And all of them, they're like super realistic. And normally it was like animals get killed and their guts outside and stuff like that. I was like, but I wasn't scared because I knew that's, I don't know, fake. Like it's part of it. So I felt like it's normal and I'm gonna continue. What else gonna bring me? At some point, I remember I felt like I was seeing that I'm dead and I'm inside the dirt, and there were the worms just eating my body.
Wow.
But yeah, it wasn't that scary. Because I knew that it's fake. I don't know. It's like it's in my brain. And what else? I remember. Yeah, there was a lot of different stuff that I cannot even describe because it was like. Yeah, there's so many details that I cannot really describe them. And I remember because I was thinking that shrooms are ego dissolving. And for me, for some reason, enacted at some point the opposite. I felt like the ego boosting for some reason because I felt like, first of all, after that, I was feeling, like, even now, when I think about it, I feel very creative. I want to create stuff. And at that moment, I was like, "Wow, look at this! This is what I create. This is in my brain. I can create all of this." And I remember saying, "So now I can do whatever I want. Like that's my word. If I look on the right, there will be this." And I was imagining something, and it appeared in the right. And if I look on the left, it's gonna be this. And I was looking on the left, it was like nothing to do with it. It was something random. I was like, okay, no, back to reality. I don't control this.
Okay.
And I also remember going through it, thinking of you or others had this experience of learning something, and I just seeing visuals, and I was trying to find the meaning of it. Like, what's the meaning? What I'm supposed to learn from it? And then I realized that I do this all the time. Like I look TV series, movies, and I look at details, and I'm trying to always find the meaning. What's the meaning behind of it? And go to the end and stuff like that. And I think my only revelation was that at the beginning, I was thinking maybe I need to stop doing that. Stop searching for the meaning. Okay. Just enjoy the moment.
Yeah, man.
As I start doing this, they start going down. Like less and less things happen. And then I realized that basically that's my motive. Like I need to have this. Like it doesn't really matter, but I need to chase that in order to be creative. Okay. So it was like, I don't know, it's a weird thing. And the last thing I remember was that I felt I have superpowers because I remember that I was having the mask. I was inside this world. I was having my noise cancellation, but I still could hear you talking, and I could remember exactly what you're saying. Yeah, I could remember exactly where you're sitting. And at some point you had a headache and you left and you went to the kitchen. I remember him cooking, and I could actually be in my visuals and actually see you like in a 3D environment exactly where you are and what you're saying. And at the end, I told you exactly what you were saying. And I remember hearing the water boiling because he was cooking. At some point I was hearing you chewing a gum, and I thought that you were like in my ear and doing it. I was like, what he's doing? And I removed my mask to tell you, man, what the fuck? And then you were in the other side of the room. So I could hear like everything 10 times like more.
Hyper senses.
And he had those sticks of, how do you call it? That you burn and it smelled the room. And I could smell this so much that I felt the taste. It was like I was eating it. Oh. And I think the most extreme one that I remember, he has a cat. Yeah. And he was outside in the garden. And I was opposite to the garden. But at some point, having the mask and everything, I felt that he wants to get back in the house because he's cold. And after a few minutes, I hear your friend saying, "Hey, Thanos, can you open up the window because he wants to get in?" But I already knew that he wants to get in. But at that stage, I couldn't say like, "Hey, guys, he wants to get in." So it was very crazy, like having a superpowers thing. So that was my experience.
It's very interesting, man, to hear all this.
So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna try it again. Like I didn't have like a very bad experience, but again, I don't have that feeling of I want to do it again.
Yeah.
Even if it was like very cool and I enjoyed it, I don't really feel that I want to do it again. So yeah.
Yeah, if you don't have something that you feel like exploring or needing some answers, you don't really have to.
Yeah, even at that point, I didn't feel that way, that I need to do it. So maybe this is why it didn't really have anything to give me. Or maybe it did and I didn't really understand it.
Yeah. But no, I think, I think it was like you said in the beginning.
But I did for a week. I remember eating like more healthier, trying to meditate. I don't meditate, but I was trying to, like being wealthy before doing that. And I don't know, I think it worked. I don't know. So what kind of experience you would like to have from now on? Like the things that you're looking in the future you would like to do?
Well, I think I like a lot the photography sessions, the one-on-one thing, because it brings me closer to other people and I hear their stories and stuff like that. And it's part of the experience as well, as we said earlier, that in the end of the session, my goal is to give them something that they treasure and they have something to look back to and to make them feel like it's about them and it's their birthday, as I say. And yeah, I like a lot this process.
So is the plan to continue staying in London and then maybe find a studio?
Yeah, now I have a lot of plans and ideas for the future, but at this stage I have to get more clients. So if I get more clients, I have a long checklist to evolve it and hopefully make it my full-time job.
Yeah, I guess the point is to get as many clients, like a steady amount of clients, so you can quit your day job and making at least the same amount of cash.
Yeah, the future is that if I get enough clients, to move in a larger house where I will have a room that's going to be a studio room. So I'm going to be secured for the winter, but I can't go out in extreme cold or London where there is always rainy and stuff like that. So you can't go outside. So I'll have a studio in the house to bring people in and have photo shoots even in the winter. And I have a lot of ideas with packages and how to use this. But yeah, now I have to focus on getting as much clients as I can because the warmer weather is coming and it's gonna be
okay. I didn't give you the tips to try. Wait.
The what? Oh yeah.
So I have some tips here that I bought from the US. They're called illegal chips.
Okay.
I'm gonna explain why after we tried them. I haven't tried them out yet.
Okay.
I tried like a few months back, but I haven't opened them up. And it's from the Good Mythical Morning. Yeah, it's Good Mythical Morning, but they have that Mythical Kitchen. They have like a sub YouTube channel where they have their cook that do those crazy stuff all the time and cooks crazy things what they eat. And they had this idea of creating the illegal chips. And they created, I don't remember the number, maybe it was like 500 of them. So it's like they created it. You could buy them and then it's over. And you couldn't really order them, I think, in Europe, or it was very expensive or something like that. So I find a way to get them.
Okay.
And now I have them here. I'm not going to show you the packaging. I'm going to show you the packaging about after.
Okay.
Okay. They smell like normal too. Get one.
All right. It's gonna make me high because I don't get high. No. I don't even drink alcohol.
I'm gonna get also one.
They smell a little bit vinegary, yeah, they're not.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try them.
It's good.
Yeah,
um,
they're pretty normal. I was thinking
Yeah.
it's gonna be a weird taste or something.
no, but the thing is, both of us don't know the real taste of this. So this is the fugu poison blowfish,
Oh,
which is like this is illegal. That's why they call illegal chips, because basically these fish you need to have a special license to
I
cook
know.
them because it's poisonous. And if you go, if I go to Japan, I will go. There are special restaurants that have the license and the cook can cook them. Because if they cook them wrong, you're gonna get food poisoning. So they find a way to. There's a whole video on how they did it, and they needed to. He did some phone calls. He needed to find specific people to do that.
Oh,
So he created the illegal blowfish,
man.
and they have actually two other
Flavors.
how do you call them, tastes. One is the blowfish, the other one is horse, which is again illegal to eat, and the third one is a cheese. I don't remember how it's called, which has maggots in them.
Oh, okay.
And obviously it's illegal to sell them because it's like cheese with real maggots
Living.
living. Yeah, so yeah, I brought you this one, but they're actually okay.
Yeah, they have a weird taste.
It's like
Afterwards.
it's okay, I think. But I haven't tried the real fish. I don't know if this is how it's supposed to taste like.
They're a little bit vinegary, a little bit salty, but they do have a taste that I can't describe. So I think it's that one.
Yeah, because it's a new taste that we haven't.
Yeah, I haven't tried
Yeah.
before.
What's the most weird thing that you have tried until now? Let's have it.
I'm very weird with food.
Yeah, I know. So this is
I
why,
don't
like,
specific
maybe in
stuff,
like in this occasion, like something that you tried just because you didn't know about it or something like that.
They're interesting, but they are not. They don't have a bad taste.
Mhm.
They have actually a good taste.
For me, it was I ate a burger that the patty was alligator,
Oh, okay.
and it did had a taste. And most people want me to describe it, and like the most obvious thing that everyone would say, it's like chicken and fish. But for me, it was like alligator. Like if you give me to try it again, I will say, yeah, that's alligator. It's a different taste. So yeah, this is why I'm thinking what you said, that this
You can't describe it.
feels like
actually.
the taste like this fish. So yeah, I don't know.
But,
Did you have anything like
well, I have
weird?
a story actually.
Go?
It's not exactly one ingredient.
Okay.
So when I was like 20, 21, around there, went to a friend of mine had a house in a very small village that has like 30 people. Whole village. It's in a top of a high mountain and super isolated. They have only one shop that it's the village's coffee place, but the owner sometimes cooks as well. You can buy food as well from there. But they don't have a menu. Whatever he wants to cook, he cooks you. And we went there for like 7 days, 1 week, something like that. And one night we started playing a game of cards and we're putting bets. The loser has to do what we said.
Okay.
One of the, for example, it was super cold there because it was on a mountain high. One of the bets was the loser goes out and takes all his clothes and stays with the underwear outside the house for 10 minutes. It was freezing cold. Another one was to the next day to hit on the villager girl that they had a couple of girls. We found one, but you have to ask her out, so like that.
Okay.
So the one that came to me, it was that the loser has to take a spoon and we're gonna put whatever is in the house, oil, honey, salt, pepper, vinegar, sugar, lemon, and whatever we can find. We're gonna put in one big spoon, and you have to eat all of it and swallow it and lick it clean. So that was for me when I lost. And I tried this, and I'm already very difficult with what I eat. And I made a big deal in my mind as well. And I was like, fuck, why me on this one? I couldn't go out in the cold, or I asked the girl out, or what the fuck, I had to go to this one. And I made it super difficult. But I did the whole thing because everybody had to do what goes to them. So I do this. It was very disgusting. And I come back to my house. And after a week or two, I wake up in the morning and I go to put milk with chocolate milk. I make it, I drink it, and it had acid taste instead of sweet.
Okay.
I'm like, what the fuck? You gave me, we have expired milk in the house. What the fuck is this? I go and check the milk. It's not expired. It's fresh. Try the milk. They say it's fresh, but it's expired. My family tries. They say it's normal. What are you talking about? What? I go to put water. I drink the water and it had iron taste, like rusted iron, rust. Like, what the fuck? The water has a weird taste. What's going on? See, no, man. The water is normal. I'm like, man, what is this? I have to go to the doctor. I have no idea what the fuck can it be. So we go to the doctor. I tell him blah, blah, blah. He makes some examinations and he tells me, you have now, how can I get translated? It's I don't know the English word. Should I Google it? It's like a taste shock.
Okay.
It's the translation that comes
Okay.
from my mind. In Greek, it's called the yerstiko shock.
Yeah.
But he was trying to figure out why I had it. And when he said taste shock, I realized immediately that it was from this stupid bet. But I was thinking that I'm 21 years old. I can't tell the doctor I was playing games in front of my mother. And I was so ashamed to say it. And I'm like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened actually, what triggered it. And the doctor was like, something triggered it. And he told me, are you smoking? I'm like, yes, I'm smoking. Did you change cigarettes lately? I'm like, yes, that's it. I changed cigarettes. Yes. I changed the cigarettes. That's it, actually.
We don't need to look on it more. That's it.
And he told me it's going to fade out on its own.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to just let it fade.
Okay.
Super crazy stories.
You didn't know that can happen.
Yeah, me neither, man, of course. That's why I got actually super scared, because before he said taste thingy, I didn't click them together in my head. I had forgotten already about this stupid bet.
Oh,
crazy.
man.
So yeah, I think that was my worst experience with
Nice.
weird tastes.
I think that's a perfect way to close the podcast. We are like 3.5 hours in, so it's a lot. We did it.
Style. We did
Fail. I said that if someone stays until the end, I'm gonna give them a gift, but I'm not going to give you anything.
I had the cigars.
Like, if you stay until the end, thank you for watching.
To the guys.
Yeah. But I'm sorry, I'm not going to give you anything.
They don't know.
Probably.
Maybe they know.
Thank you for being in this podcast, man. For being so long, for sharing so much. I think you are the person that have visited. Like, you were a guest in this podcast for like
the most
times, and you will probably be, because I'm guessing you're gonna be back at some point for sure.
I probably will not have any mushroom stories more.
That's okay.
I kept some
you're gonna
parts.
have.
Maybe I can tell you the parts
I think you're gonna
didn't
have
say.
new stories until then with other stuff for sure.
With other stuff.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay.
Where people can find you? What's the best place to find you?
Well, I have a YouTube channel. Everything is actually Thanos Studio.
Okay.
I changed Thanos.
I'll also have like your website and everything. So if people are in London, they can book.
And thank you guys for watching. If you have any psychedelic experiences, you want to share them, I would be more than glad to listen to them, because I checked a lot of stuff on the YouTube, but they have some stupid stuff, they have some interesting stuff, but it's not a big variety of what I searched. So I'm always interested to hear more stories.
Yeah, I think most people
somebody feels
don't want
like
to share.
they want to share.
Yeah.
No,
I mean on YouTube, not in, by person.
Yeah, most people wanna share it person to person actually.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome, man. Thank you for being in this one.
Thank you. And yeah, it was a good for me as well to share this publicly, because I didn't feel like posting it on my channel. So
okay, you can dump it on mine.
Yeah. It was a good because I found comfort in hearing other people's stories. So if somebody that has a psychedelic experience and finds comfort in my story, I'm more than glad to share it to them and to have it out there somewhere so they can find it actually. So you can put it even in the title if you want. So people
No,
can,
I'm not going to put anything on the title. It's gonna be
empty.
Maybe Joe Rogan tribute or something like that. And then I'm gonna left it. I'm not going to explain anything. Like normally I explain what we're talking about and everything. This one is gonna be blank. It's gonna be if you want to watch it. Do you want me to put it? I can. If you want. I can put a huge mushroom in the thumbnail and
you can do something like that. But I was thinking that it's gonna be helpful for people if they Google something to find it. But whatever you like.
Okay. Well, it's up to you.
To help somebody, if they find comfort in listening to other people's stories, that they can find it. That's my idea, but whatever you like.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Then I'm gonna have it. See you in the next one.